Hey everyone, this is Russell Brunson, and I want to welcome you to the DotComSecrets Ignite training webinar. And I am super excited for this. This training you guys are gonna be going through is literally it's kind of like my labor of love. It's my a lot of people talk about their mission, like their thing in life that they feel like they're put here on earth to do. And I really think for whatever reason, I was put on this earth to help people to figure out how to market and help grow their businesses. Like it's been something I've been passionate about for over a decade now, and I've been doing it in our own businesses and other people's businesses. And for whatever reason, I've been blessed, and I've had such a unique opportunity to work in so many different businesses and so many different industries that for whatever reason I feel like I've been able to see so many things that because of that I'm able to kind of share some things that aren't just specific to my business. A lot of people that teach internet marketing, they're focusing on what works in their business or somebody else's business. But this is something that works in literally in pretty much every business, every industry that I've worked with. These concepts we're going to be sharing, they work. And so this webinar is not going to be a short one. It's going to be long. I want you to get prepared. Hopefully you have something to drink with you, a pad of paper, a pencil, all that kind of stuff, because we're going to be covering a lot of stuff in a very, it's kind of long, but it's also a very short period of time. Recently, I actually did a 3-day event out here in Boise, and we taught all this stuff over 3 days. And in 3 days, the audience was overwhelmed. I was tired. I was worn out. And we're trying to compress that entire thing into 3 or 4 hours. And so that's kind of the game plan for today. It's going to be a lot of fun. The title of this presentation, again, is DotComSecrets Ignite. DotComSecrets is my company. We call this Ignite because this is the ignition. This is the initial spark you need to really take off any company, any business. If you're just beginning a business, it's the ignition you need. Or if you've got a business and you want to explode it, this is where it begins. And so this is really what I'm going to be covering is the underground playbook for doubling your sales online. That's what I'm going to show you how to do, because for me, I spent years and years and years trying to make more money and trying to increase my sales and all sorts of stuff. And it wasn't until I realized and kind of learned these secrets that everything kind of came together. Now, I say that I also want to kind of mention that all the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you, these are not all my own original concepts. A lot of these things I learned from friends and from mentors and from just amazing people around me. I've been blessed to be around some of the most amazing marketers on the planet. And I will always try to give credit where credit is due on any of these concepts I share with you guys, because again, they're not all mine, but they're things that I've taken and incorporated in my companies, to my company and the companies we work with, and it's just stuff that works. And so that's kind of what it is, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so one thing I want to do before we get too much in this, guys, I want to make you guys a promise. I promise you that by the end of this webinar, you're going to feel a little bit like this. And this is one of my favorite pictures in the world, because someone told me one of the first times I was speaking at a seminar, and as a lot of you guys probably know, I get really excited and I talk really, really fast. And somebody told me afterwards, they said, "Man, Russell, I feel like someone was shooting a fire hose into my mouth the entire time." And then about a year later, I found this picture, and it made me laugh so hard, because this is probably how you're going to feel. I promise you will feel overwhelmed before we're done. We're compressing a decade worth of information in the next 4 or 5 hours, and it's important, you guys, don't get frustrated or nervous. You will get overwhelmed. I'm going to be covering so much stuff. But at the end of this, I'll show you how to get a copy of this training so that you can watch it again later in the future and slow things down and dig a lot deeper. And obviously, at the same time, if you want, we can work with you a lot closer at a personal level to kind of implement these things into your company as well. But I do promise you'll feel like this. We're covering a ton of stuff in a very compressed, short period of time. And so just don't be concerned about that. I promise you it's going to happen, and it'll be worth it, though. All right, so real quick to begin with, I want to let you know who I am. My name is Russell Brunson, and this is a picture of me passed out at a Dan Kennedy seminar. Now, if any of you guys know who Dan Kennedy is, he is kind of the godfather of direct response marketing. He was the guy who I think kind of taught this entire industry to all of the internet marketers, the direct response marketers, and anyway, a while ago I had a chance to get to know him, and we became friends, and started becoming the internet marketing trainer in their company. And this was one of the events I spoke at. And at the event, there was 1,200 people, and he made me speak for 6 hours. I was on stage 4 times in a 3-day period of time. And what was interesting is I actually spoke more at his event than Dan did. Okay, and so that kind of just shows you the power of internet marketing right now. Like, people are more interested in internet marketing than any other kind of marketing right now, and it makes sense because that's what works and that's what's working really, really big. And so again, I had the honor of speaking there at his seminar for 6 hours on stage, and between my sessions, I was just beat and I passed out. So there I am, passed out. Somebody made this into a poster and put it online, and it went viral, and everyone's always like, hey, you're that guy who falls asleep when he's making money. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Anyway, so one of the reasons why Dan wanted me to speak at his event is I started a company called DotComSecrets a little while ago, where we teach people all these internet marketing secrets, all the stuff we do to generate traffic, to make sales, to grow companies online. And I think what's different between us and most of the other internet marketing coaching businesses in the world is that as far as I know, I can maybe count 1 or 2 other people who I can say this about, but there are very few people who make more money outside of the how to make money on the internet market than in it. And our company is one where we actually make more money every single month doing internet marketing than we do teaching internet marketing. And that's something I'm proud of because, again, I can maybe count 1 or 2 other people that I know of who actually do that. The rest of them are out there selling internet marketing training, and that's all they do. So rest assured that we actually have real businesses and really sell stuff online, and I'm very proud of that. And a lot of people ask me, well, Russell, if you do that, then why in the world are you still doing this internet marketing training stuff? And the reason is, like, it opens up a lot of doors for me. I had a chance to hang out with Dan Kennedy and get to know him. I had a chance, because of our DotComSecrets training company, to meet Richard Branson. In fact, here's a picture of me on stage with Richard Branson when he awarded our company an airplane. And so if you guys fly Virgin Air, next time you get on one of the planes, look on the outside. And someone asked me one time, is that photoshopped on? No, that is physically on the side of the airplane. It says DotComSecrets Air, and it'll be on the side of the airplane until that airplane blows up or disappears in the middle of the ocean or something like that. And so it's kind of cool. So we have our own airplane from Richard Branson, which, again, that was a huge door that got opened because of our internet marketing training company. Had a chance to meet Tony Robbins. I actually went to his business mastery event out in Fiji. I think he charges people like 20 or 30 grand to go to this event. He had me come and speak, and I was the internet marketing training coach, which was really awesome, and had a chance to fly my wife and my kids out there. I actually have 4 kids now. By the time we had 3, so that's all of them here. And we're actually sitting on top of Tony Robbins' house in Fiji in a bed overlooking the ocean. So I don't know about you, but it was like one of the coolest experiences of my life, and it was just really cool to get to know him and his wife, and spend, I think we ended up spending about 10 days in Fiji, and spoke at the event and then just hung out and had a ton of fun. So it was pretty awesome. So those are some of the reasons why we have our internet marketing training company, and that's kind of where it all came about. All right. Now, I want to kind of tell you some of my backstory, because a lot of people ask me, like, how do you learn all this stuff? What's why do you do this? And so it all began for me when I was about 12 years old, and that's when my junk mail addiction began. I was actually watching late night TV one night. My dad was watching the news, and I think he forgot that I was still awake. And when the news was over, all of a sudden these little infomercials came up, and there was this guy on this infomercial talking about how he made money posting classified ads in newspapers. And I got so excited that I wanted to learn how to do it, and so I wanted my dad to buy the kit. And my dad was like, "I'm not going to buy that kit." But I was sold. The guy sold me on the fact you can make money using classified ads. And so I went and I saved up $40 for his kit. I had to mow lawns and do a bunch of work, and I saved up money, and I bought this kit. And the kit, he started talking about how he was making money with classified ads. He said, I took a classified ad, I placed it in a newspaper, and when I did, I made $30 profit. He said, and then I was proud of that, but I told my friends and my family, and they kind of made fun of me. And but he said, I took that same ad and I placed it in 1,000 newspapers, and then I was able to make $30,000. And I remember when he explained that, like, the light bulbs went off my head. I realized that, man, if you understand marketing and how to create products and do things like that, you can literally scale a business really, really big. Like, I was thinking about people, my teachers. I was thinking about other people like that who go to work each day, and they're working for, 10 or 12 or 15 or $50 or $100 an hour or even more. But no matter what, if they want to make more money, they got to work more hours. And this was my big first epiphany that, man, if I create a product or a service and I sell it, I can sell it all day long, and it doesn't increase the hours I have to work. And that was kind of the beginning of my whole marketing journey. And again, I was 12 years old at the time. And so I started going out there and I started studying this and learning things. I remember I bought a magazine called Small Business Opportunities Magazine. And some of you guys have probably seen it before. It's literally a magazine that has 140 pages worth of ads and like 2 articles inside of it. And I remember I was flipping through this and reading all these ads, and it just got me excited. And I started calling the 1-800 numbers in these ads and requesting their free kits. And I started learning about marketing. And this is what that old offline method kind of looked like. Okay, somebody would see an ad like me in a magazine or a newspaper, or they get a postcard or something, right? And then they would call a phone number, and then somebody would answer the phone and they say, hey, thanks for calling for your free kit. What's your address? And they get the address, and then that person would then physically mail them a letter. And that letter, they would open it up, and what was it? It was a sales letter. And that sales letter would then sell some kind of product. Okay? And this is what I learned back when I was 12 years old, that this is how people were making money. Okay, the guy in the infomercial was placing classified ads and doing this process. I saw people in magazines doing it. I started getting direct mail. I started just learning all these things, and this is the way that they were making money. There's some kind of direct response ad saying, call this phone number or mail in, a self-addressed stamped envelope to this thing, and they would mail back a free report, and the free report was just a sales letter. They would sell them some kind of product. And I remember I saw that over and over and over again, and I got it. I said, this is awesome. But I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have any money to go buy ads. It was really expensive. And so while I learned it, I didn't have the ability to ever do it. And I think that's one thing that's unfortunate. A lot of people are never able to actually make money back then because it just cost too much. And that's the beauty of the internet. A few years later, when I wasn't 12, when I was closer to 21 or 22, so about 10 years later, I started learning about this whole internet thing. And what was interesting is that as I started learning about it, it was very similar to the offline thing. Except instead of having to buy an ad in a newspaper or a magazine or on TV or whatever, we were buying ads on websites. And somebody would click on that ad and it would go to a page that would say, hey, do you want a free report? Give me your email address. Okay, notice it's very similar to a real address, but give me your email address and I'll email you this report. People would give you the email address, they click submit, and the next page, what would show up? A report. And what was that report? It was a sales letter selling them something. Okay, does this look familiar, guys? This process happening offline is the exact same process that's happening online. The difference is that for me to go place an ad, it's a lot cheaper sometimes. For me to send somebody a sales letter and email is free versus direct mail costs a lot more money. And suddenly when I learned this process, I said, this is the same thing I was learning about when I was 12, but now it's on the internet. Now people like me can play. Okay, and this again, I was 21, 22 years old. I was in college and I was learning this. And it got me excited because I realized that this is something that I could actually do. I could do this. And so I started getting into this whole business, started doing this process. I'd write ads and I'd send them to a page and I'd get them to join my list and I'd send them sales letters and sales videos to sell them stuff. And I started selling all sorts of things. Started growing my own company and started having a ton of fun with that. And so that's kind of where, for me, this whole internet marketing thing began. Okay, so I wanted to tell that story because I really want you guys to see the correlations that all this stuff I'm talking about and that we're going to be showing you guys today. A lot of it's very similar to what's been happening for hundreds of years. Like, we're not inventing this, but it's a new media and it's a new way to do it. And when you understand that and understand how to harness it, you can scale a company very, very quickly. In fact, for example, we launched a new supplement a little while ago. And in January of this year, the supplement was doing about $20,000 a month. And as soon as we got our numbers right and kind of this process figured out and it started working, we were able to scale it. And by March, we were making $300,000 a month. Within a month or two later, we're at $500,000 a month. And next month, we have the potential of doing over $1 million. And that's happening in, within just a couple months, we can scale things very, very quickly. And that's the power of this whole online stuff that we're talking about. And this is why I think people like the internet now, because you can scale things up so much faster than you ever could, so much faster and cheaper than you ever could with traditional offline marketing. Okay? All right. So we're going to be covering 4 different sections during the training today. And like I said, we've got a ton to cover, so I hope that we're able to get it all in. But section number 1 is designing your dream business. Okay? So many people, and I'm guilty of this as well, we get in this entire business and we don't think about who we really want to sell to initially. We kind of come in and maybe we have an idea for a product or service and we start creating things and we start just moving forward. Or maybe we already have an offline business and we just want to take it online and we start running. And what I found, this is a lesson that man, it took me probably 8 years to learn, and I wish I would have learned it 8 years earlier, which is why we're starting with it. Because if you do this correctly, you can literally design your dream business from day number one and have it become a business you love. Okay, if you don't do this, you're probably gonna have happen to you what kind of happened to me. You're gonna build a business that that seems really nice at first, but because you didn't really plan it out, it very quickly becomes more of a nightmare. And I want to save you guys from that turmoil and torment by figuring out how to design your business the right way initially. And so this is the first step in that is a process I call the secret formula. Okay, so this is what the secret formula looks like. And I have these little graphics to kind of illustrate all these different points because I don't know about you guys, but when I see graphics like this, it helps me to understand a concept, and then later when I come back, I can look at the image within seconds. I can recall exactly what it was that I was trying to learn. Okay, so this is a secret formula to building your dream business. It's going to be a business that you're going to love. Okay, the first thing you got to figure out starts way over here to the left is who. Who is the person you want to sell to? Who's your dream customer? Okay, now if you don't know who that person is right now, I promise you're going to attract the wrong person. Okay, for years I was just selling stuff about how to make money on the internet, and I didn't really identify who my target market was. I said, hey, anyone who wants to make money on the internet, that's who I'm selling to. And guess what happened from that? I got everyone who wanted to make money on the internet, and a lot of those people, the majority of those people, didn't have any money, they didn't have any time, they didn't have any skills, any resources, and they just weren't the kind of people who were going to have success. Okay, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago we sat down and said, look, this is not our dream client. Okay, these are not the kind of people we want to work with. Like, who do we actually want to work with? And we sat down and we started thinking, like, who is that person? Who's our dream client? And we started mapping out exactly who that person is and what they're interested in, what they like, and what their passions are. And we started mapping out all these things. And we really identified who our target customer was. And I want to show you guys something kind of cool because the next two slides I think will be interesting to you guys because I'm curious that if these slides represent who you are. Okay, because what we did is we went through and we mapped out all the things about our dream customer, and then I actually went to Google, and we kind of picked we call it a customer avatar, right? And we picked a name for each one. And so, like for example, first one I said is going to be Julie. This is what she's going to look like. This is what she's going to be interested in. And we kind of wrote that out. Then I took Julie and I went to Google and I went to Google Images. I typed in Julie, successful businesswoman, and all the different criteria of what I wanted, and I clicked submit, and all these pictures started showing up. And I scrolled through it till I found my dream client. So let me show you how it worked. This one right here is Julie. Okay, Julie is one of my dream clients. She is successful. She is driven. Okay, Julie's got a message that she wants to share with the world. Okay, she values her own personal growth and development and the growth and development of other people more than she values money. She likes money, but she's more interested in building something big and like helping a lot of people and serving the world. And Julie already has a business that's making her about at least 5 figures a year. So she's got something happening. It's not where she wants it to be yet, but she's figured out all the hard stuff initially of getting a business off the ground and those type of things. Because something like that, I can come there and I can do all sorts of stuff to help take it to the next level. But Julie is kind of my dream client. Okay. Now for the women who are watching this right now, I'm curious if any of you guys, do you guys fit into the mold of Julie? Okay. I know I've got Liz and Christy on here. Liz and Christy, does this sound at all like you guys? Okay, we identified exactly who our dream client was, and guess what? When you do that, and through this process I'm going to show you, you'll attract the kind of person you want. Okay, so this is Julie. Now, you should do the same thing with your client. Figure out who it is, find an image of them, take a picture of it. Like, I don't know who this picture actually is. I just know in Google Images, she showed up and I saw her, I said, boom, I want to work with her. I want to hang out with her. She's someone who, if she came to a mastermind meeting, would be fun to hang out with. Okay. Did the same thing with my male avatar. Okay. I called him Mike. I said, I want a guy named Mike. I want someone who's kind of a former athlete, and usually someone who's kind of changed somebody's life in a small way, but he wants to take that to the next level and help a lot more people. Same things, he values growth over money, and he's already got a business that's making some money. Okay. So Julie and Mike, these are my 2 customer avatars. And I am pretty sure that for most of you guys on this line, you are going to fit into one of these 2 profiles. Okay. Because that's who we're targeting. That's who we're trying to get to be into our company. Okay, so for you guys, you got to figure out the same thing. Like, who is it you really want to be working with? Okay, because if you don't identify that, I promise you guys, everything else, you may or may not make money, but if you do, you may end up with customers you don't want to be with. Okay, all right. So there's my who. That's the first step. Second step is figuring out where are those people at. Okay, now I know exactly who Julie and who Mike are. Where are they at? Where are they spending their time? Where online are they? And we're going to talk about that a lot more here in later on in the training. But I want you to think about it, like, because as soon as I know who they are, I can find out where they're hanging out online. When I can do that, now I can start targeting them. Okay. The third step is I need to create bait. Okay, it's got to be the right kind of bait, the bait that my dream client is going to bite. Okay, I look at some of my old offers, my own products, and so if one of my products is like, hey, how to get rich on the internet overnight doing nothing, think Julie would be attracted to that? Probably not. Think Mike would? I don't think either Julie or Mike would want that. But if I created a product that was called DotComSecrets Labs 108 of our best split test winners, and Julie's already got a website and she's doing well, but she wants it to do better, and she saw that bait, think she'd take it? How about Mike? Think you'd take that? Yeah. So I created bait that my dream client would be attracted to. Okay, it's just like, I'm not a big fisher person, but let's say you want to go out and you knew exactly the type of fish you wanted to catch. Every fish has different bait, right? Okay, so if you throw the wrong bait in, you're going to get the wrong fish. You throw the right bait in, you're going to get exactly who you want. Okay, so after I've identified who my person is, I got to find out where those people are hanging out, and then I create bait that's going to attract my dream client. I throw that bait in there, and now I can get my dream client. That's how I get them. Now, after I've got them, I got to figure out where to want to take them. Okay, too many of businesses online and offline, and I'm sure too many of your guys' businesses, you're focusing so much on like, what's the product I can sell? What's a product? What's a product? But what you need to be focusing on is, where can I take my dream client? Okay, where can I take that person to serve them at the highest level? Because that's a business. Okay, there's a big difference between a product and a business. A product is something you sell and you make some money with. A business is when you're working with somebody, you're taking somebody from where they are to somewhere else. Okay, and this is kind of a big step. We're going to talk about this as well throughout the training. Okay, but that's the secret formula, you guys. Initially, you need to think about that and focus on that. Who's my dream client? Where are those people at? What's the bait I'm going to create to attract those people? And after I got them, where do I want to take them? Okay, and again, you guys will see my process here as we go through. I'm going to be very transparent in this training. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. This webinar you're on right now was bait. It was bait to get you, my dream client here. And at the end of this, I'm going to show you where I want to take you. Okay. And that's, again, I'm practicing what I preach all day long. All right. Okay. So that was step number one. Step number two now is what I call the value ladder. And this is, I think when I first learned this concept and started understanding it, this was one of the biggest ahas for me. It helped me to really take our company to a whole different level almost overnight. And it's a concept that too many businesses don't understand. And usually when I first start working with people, I want them to understand this piece of it. Because if you understand this piece, almost all the rest of it will just kind of take care of itself. Okay? So this is called the value ladder. Now, again, the first time I started kind of learning about this, I was at a seminar and I heard this guy named Mike Littman talk. And Mike was talking about his business model. And he said, hey, I give away a free CD to get customers in. And then from there, I sell them my coaching. I thought, okay, that makes sense. And he said, guess how much money I pay to give away a free CD? I was like, I don't know, $2, $3? He said, on average, I'm paying between $30 and $60 to give away for every free CD that I give away. And in my head, I was like, are you stupid? Why would you do that? You're going to pay someone $60 to give away a free CD. Like, that makes no logical sense for me. And I remember like the wheels in my head turning, and then Mike got kind of quiet and he leaned into the mic and he said, do you want to know why I do that? And I was thinking, again, this is me as a 21-year-old kid. I said, why would he do that? And he said, because amateurs focus on the front end. Amateurs focus on the front end. And he said, to build a business the right way, you have to understand that you're building a business, not just a product. Okay? He said, because my business is structured the right way, I can spend $30 or $40 or $50 to give away a free CD, and it makes sense because I'm going to make that money up on the back end. Okay, so amateurs focus on the front end. And the inverse of that is people like us who understand business, understand that we're here to make money, that we're professionals and we're trying to grow a company. We understand that we focus on the back end. All right, so we hear that a lot, but what does that mean? Well, this is a good example from a company I'm sure you're all familiar with called McDonald's. Okay, now McDonald's, if you look at it right now, they spend about $1.91 in advertising to get somebody to come through the drive-through window. Okay, when they show up at that window, the average customer will pay $2.09 on a hamburger. Okay, so does that seem like a very good profit margin? They spent $1.91, they made $2, so McDonald's is making a whopping, like, what's that, 20 cents, 20, whatever the math is on that. Okay, 18 cents, even worse. They're only making 18 cents for every single person they get through the drive-through. And you're like, man, that Ronald McDonald is not that smart. He's a clown. He hasn't figured this out yet. But Ronald McDonald is actually very smart, right? Okay, someone comes through, they spend the $1.91 in ads, they get someone to come through to order a hamburger, they make their 18 cents, but then what do they say? Okay, they try to upsell you fries and a Coke. You want to supersize that? I don't think they say supersize that anymore, but if you look at McDonald's growth when they added in the supersize upsell, they said, hey, do you want to supersize this? Boom, their company took off. It exploded like never before. And so they added fries and Coke for $1.77 more, and guess what happened? Okay, from that $1.77, they got to make and keep a $1.32 profit. Okay, 8 times the profit by adding in the back end. Okay, now a lot of your companies right now, if you're struggling, I'm guessing you're missing part of it. You're either missing a front end or a back end or something in between. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now is a concept that we call the value ladder. Okay, and this is what a value ladder kind of looks like. Okay, you notice on the left-hand side, we got value. And the arrow goes up, so the more value you provide, the higher it goes here. And on the bottom side, we got price. Okay, and so as we move this direction, price gets more and more expensive. Now, for me, if someone was coming to me and say, Russell, what's the best thing you have to offer? It's always going to be back here at the top of the value ladder. Okay, they're going to receive the most amount of value possible, and it's going to be the most expensive thing possible. Okay, for us, what do you think the most value I can possibly provide somebody is right now? Okay, so for me, it's a program that we actually launched recently, and it was almost as a joke initially because I didn't know if anyone was going to buy it, but we launched it and we recently signed up our very first customer, and it's a $1 million package. Okay, the way it works is they pay us $100,000. Me and my team and I'm not sure how we say that, we fly out to their office and we set up their offer, we set up a mini call center for them, and we set up their traffic generation systems, and we drive traffic. It's $100,000 up front, plus 10% of the profits, up to $10 million. At that point, we have made $1 million, and then the contract ends. So it's a $1 million package. That's the best value I could ever provide somebody, okay, by far, hands down. That's how I can serve my customers at the highest level. Now, if I was walking up to you on the street and I was like, hey, great to meet you, man. I see you got a business here. You're a chiropractor. It's awesome. What I want to do is if you give me $1 million, I'll take your business to the next level. You in? Okay, what do you think you're going to say? You're going to say, no, Russell, you crazy? I'm not going to give you $1 million. There's no way you're that cool or even close to that cool, right? Okay, and then why is that? It's because at that point I provided no value. They don't know if I'm good or if I'm bad or anything. So what we do in the business is we start down here at the bottom left-hand, okay, where we provide a little bit of value at a little bit of cost, because people will test something, right? They'll test the waters and see if they like something. They'll try it out, okay? This comes back to what we'll talk about here in a minute is our bait, right? But we're testing out something. We're putting some bait out there in the water, and someone's going to take it. Okay, for those of you guys who came through any of our funnels, it might have been the DotComSecrets Labs book, might have been another product, but there's some bait we put out there, right? And if you get that, it's not going to cost you very much, but if you get that and you like it and you receive value, what naturally happens next? You're like, man, that was awesome. I received value. It wasn't that expensive. What else do they have? And naturally, if they receive value at this level, they're going to naturally want to ascend up to the next level. Okay, and here now you can enter into something, you sell them something else, and they receive value at this level. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to ascend up to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. Okay? And that's how a value ladder works. It all has to do with how much value you can provide somebody. Okay? So for me, I come in and we give away our free DotComSecrets Labs book. Somebody goes through that experience, they get a bunch of stuff, and then they want the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and eventually we close people on our $8,000 coaching, our $25,000, our $1 million coaching, and they move up through a value ladder. Okay, and that's kind of how this thing works. But it all has to do 100% with how much value you provide people. Okay, if you're screwing people, which happens so much on the internet, guess what? You may get one shot. You got one transaction, you might get somebody, but it'll end there. But if you're providing real legitimate value, people will buy from you for years and years and years and years. And that's the goal of building a value ladder the right way. Okay, now on the bottom hand side here, you notice there's dollar signs going across this way. This is your continuity program. Because any good business, you got to have a value ladder, but you also need to have continuity where people are paying you monthly for access to software, for something. And we'll talk about how to create this later on in the presentation, but just so you understand from this diagram what that is. All right. Now, I want to show you guys a value ladder for a dentist. And I had an experience a couple years ago, that kind of illustrated this really, really well. So when I first started my business, we got started and we didn't, it was just me at first, and then my wife and I, and then we started hiring some employees. And after we had 4 or 5 employees, they all started asking us if we had benefits. And I had never had a job before. I didn't know what benefits meant. Turns out benefits means you pay for people's insurance and their dental insurance, all this stuff. And we never done that before, but I was like, you know what? Everyone's asking for it, so let's give everyone benefits. So we created this benefit package, and so for the first time in like 6 years, I had dental insurance, which was kind of exciting. And a little while later, I got a postcard in the mail that said, "Come in from a dentist that said come in for a free teeth cleaning." And I was like, sweet! I got my insurance now. I got this teeth cleaning, and the bait was set, right? The company put out some bait, and I took it. And I called the company up and said, yes, I want to get my teeth cleaned for free. They had me come in. Came in, I met the dentist, met the assistants, met everyone. They sat me down, they cleaned my teeth for free, and it was awesome. I was super excited. And while they're in there cleaning my teeth, the dentist says, hey, I just had a question for you. Do you smoke or do you drink coffee or anything? I was like, what? What are you talking about? I said, well, yeah, I noticed your teeth are kind of yellow. I wasn't sure if it's because you're a smoker or drink coffee or what. I was like, my teeth are yellow. Are you serious? He said, yeah, well, they are. But I'm like, no, I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. He's like, oh, wow, I feel kind of awkward now. And I was like, well, what can you do about it? Like, I don't want yellow teeth. If you're noticing it, I'm sure everyone else is too. And he said, well, don't worry. We have these whitening kits, and we'll give you gel, and we'll give you all this stuff to whiten your teeth. I'm like, yes, please give me that. And and like a good marketer did, he provided more value. And because of that, he was able to sell me the next thing on his value ladder. Excuse me. So then a few minutes later, he's going through and he said, hey, so did you ever have braces? I said, yeah, how can you tell? He said, well, your teeth are kind of crowding, and that happens a lot of times when people had braces when they were young. I said, my teeth are crowding. He said, yeah, but if you want, we can create a retainer, and the retainer will keep your teeth in place, and that way it won't look like your teeth are all jacked up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, are you serious? Like my teeth are messed up? And he said, well, if you want me to make a retainer, I will. And I said, yes, please make me a retainer. And that's where the value ladder ended for me. Had my teeth have been really messed up, I'm sure the next episode would have said, hey, Russell, I'm sure we can do this, and the next episode would have been cosmetic dentistry, whatever else it is. Okay, and then when I was leaving my checkup that day, the assistant said, hey, we'll sign you up for 6 months from now to come back, and boom, they signed me up for their continuity program. Okay, so what just happened here? I came in, a dentist put out some really good bait. It was a free teeth cleaning. I came in and I received value. My teeth were getting cleaned. It was awesome. And then they figured out how could they provide more value to me, and boom, I wanted to get my teeth whitened. And they provided more value, and I kept ascending up this value ladder. I naturally wanted to ascend because I received value at each point. And I walked in on a free teeth cleaning, and I left with a $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 bill. I don't remember what it was. And so that's how a value ladder works. Okay, I'm sure you guys have all been to the dentist before. You've seen this before. But now you'll probably respect your dentist more when you see that, man, they understand how to do this. Okay. And for me, it was kind of sad because my wife went in 2 days later with her free postcard teeth cleaning, and she walked away with whitening trays and a retainer as well. So they got both of us, and that postcard campaign probably made them $8,000 or $9,000 when all said and done. And then we've been clients now for them for almost 10 years. So it works, you guys. It works all day long. All right. So here's the value ladder for my company, just so I can be completely transparent. You guys will see this, and it'll make a lot of sense, okay? So the front of my value ladder, usually some kind of free quiz or a squeeze page or something where I'm trying to get somebody in the front door. After that, we give away a free book, free plus shipping. Okay, I'm guessing most of you guys on this webinar probably got this book. Next, we have our Invisible Funnel webinar, okay? For all you guys who are on this webinar right now, this is where you are in my value ladder, okay? You are currently on an Invisible Funnel style webinar where I'm training you for free and providing as much value as possible for two reasons. First off, I want to provide as much value as possible. Second off, if you like this, I'm hoping you're going to send up to either my home study course, one of my events, or my inner circle. There's my value ladder. Okay, we do it all day long. And then when you go through this process, my goal is to get you on my continuity program, which is a software product called ClickFunnels. And when you sign up for that, I get paid every single month. Okay, boom, there's full transparency. There is my DotComSecrets company. Okay, I can show you my value ladder for every one of my companies. One of the first things we map out when we come into a company, because the problem that most people have is they come in, they start a business and they've got one of these things. They don't have all of them. They got one, maybe two, and they struggle. Okay, a good example of that is one of my buddies is a chiropractor. And I hope we got a lot of chiropractors on this webinar right now. But typically, most chiropractors, they live and they die on their $40 or $50 adjustment. Okay, so one of my friends is a chiropractor. He started this new clinic, and he started doing this. He started getting clients and bringing them in and doing the adjustment, and he'd make $40 or $50 every time you get an adjustment. Boom. And then the continuity for them is keep coming in a couple times a week for adjustments. Okay, so he's got two pieces of this value ladder built out. And one day he called me and said, "Hey Russell, you're this great marketing guru. Give me some magic so I can grow my practice." And we started talking a little bit, and I was like, "Well, like, tell me about your business. And he explained it. And I was like, so all you do is just adjustments? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what else do you provide people? He's like, that's it. That's what we do. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Let me think about it a little bit and I'll get back to you. And so literally like a week later, some of you guys know my background. I was a wrestler in high school and in college. And a couple years ago, I started this wrestling club, and I actually flew out I had the entire Olympic Greco wrestling team move to Boise, and we built a whole training center, and it was really a really fun project for a couple of years. And we had all these guys training here for the Olympics, and we had a chiropractor who was coming in a couple times a week to adjust the guys. And one day after practice, the chiropractor called, and she wasn't able to show up. But all the guys were like, "Man, our spines hurt, our neck hurts." We're throwing each other around just in a pretty bad spot. And so they needed to be adjusted. And one of the wrestlers was an intelligent guy, and he said, "You know what? I can figure this out." And he went on YouTube and he typed in chiropractic adjustment. And within 5 minutes, he watched someone explain how to do it. He went into the room and he adjusted every single person on the team. And I wasn't there that day, but he called me afterwards and told me, he said, "Hey, I'm a chiropractor. I adjusted everyone on the team." And he told me the process, the story, and I started laughing so hard. I said, "Hey, I got to call someone. I'll call you back." So I called my buddy who's a chiropractor, and I called him up and I was like, "Hey man, just so you know, my friend," and he knew the guy as well. I said he was able to replicate every single thing you do in your business, and he learned it in 5 minutes on YouTube. And I kind of waited. And what happened next was really funny. My buddy, the chiropractor, he obviously got upset. Okay, he'd gone to who knows how many years of school to become a chiropractor, and he came on. He's like, "You can't just do that. You can't." He's like, "You're minimalizing what we do as a profession and this and this." And I let him kind of rant for a minute, and I got a big smile on my face. And then I stopped and I said, "Wait." I said, "If I was calling just to make fun of you, I probably wouldn't have called you. But there's a lesson behind this." I said, "What else did you learn while you were in medical school? Did you learn other stuff besides how to do an adjustment?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I learned how to do this and health and wellness and how we can solve fibromyalgia. We can do this." And like he started just brain dumping everything he learned over his 5 or 6 or however many year degree, right? And I was making a list of all this stuff. And then when he got done, I said, "So let me ask you, when any of your clients come in, do you ever offer them more value? Do you ever show them how you can, all the stuff you learned, do you ever provide that to any of them?" And he was like, "No." I said, what would happen if you did an adjustment for somebody and they just receive value from you, they feel better, their back feels better, and then you came to them and said, "Hey, I noticed you got fibromyalgia. I actually have this program. It's a 6-week program that can help you to overcome your fibromyalgia. It's not cheap, but it'll cure you of your pains, and you will feel a million times better. Would you be interested in that?" And the person looks down at their hands and looks at their feet and say, "Man, I'm really struggling. I would love to do that. I would love to receive more value from you. Here's a check for $5,000 or $10,000. I said, "Imagine what that would be like." And all of a sudden, it clicked on him. He said, "There's tons of stuff I could sell, Russell. I could sell weight loss coaching. I could sell natural health. I can sell all these different things to people. I can provide way more value to my clients than I am right now." I said, "Yeah, man, there's so much stuff. There's so many tools, so many gifts that you guys have. Every one of you guys on this call that you have that you could provide your people, but you don't. And I don't know if it's because you're afraid to sell or you don't know how to do it. But if you look at it like this way and you think, what else? How can I provide more value to my clients?" Suddenly it opens up a whole new dimension in your business. Suddenly you've got a back end. Okay, and after you have this back end in place, now you can spend more money to acquire a customer. Okay, I told you before, Mike Littman said, amateurs focus on the front end. People that just have a front end, they don't have all this money. Okay, for him to make $5,000, how many $50 adjustments does he have to do? It's a lot, right? Was it 100? $150 adjustments make $5,000. Now, if he got one of those 100 people to say yes to his $5,000 coaching program, he doubled his money instantly. Okay, you guys getting this? Do you see how this works? So that's what he did here. Now, the next kind of lesson I had with him, I said, look, the other issue is like, right now, an adjustment's not really like that good of bait. Okay, if someone's back is hurting him, you throw out this bait, that's one thing. You can get somebody in the front door, but it's not really good bait to attract who you want. Okay, if you're trying to sell people, especially diet, weight loss, holistic things, like you need better bait to get your dream client in. Okay, so I said we need to start crafting it and figure out what that bait on the front end is going to be. And so we've tested a bunch of different things. One of the ones he's had a ton of success with is he started doing free massages. Okay, someone comes in for a massage and they receive value from this massage, and in fact, here it is right here. They receive value from the massage, and the masseuse says, "Hey, I noticed that 2 of your ribs are out of place. You'd like doctor to come in here and adjust you." And of course, the person is like, "Yes, please let him come in and provide more value to me." The chiropractor comes in, pops the ribs back in place, does a quick adjustment, and boom, provided more value. Now gets them on an adjustment plan. Okay, now this is a really good value ladder for a chiropractor. Okay, he's also doing now with these really cool wholeness classes he's doing. He's going to companies and doing these natural health demonstrations for people, and that's the bottom of his value ladder. And he gets them from there and he sends them back up. Okay, completely transformed his business. Okay, you guys getting this? I want you guys to think about your business and figure out what do you have? What are you missing? Okay, here's a couple examples. Here's Tony Robbins. You look at his company. He's got a value ladder as well. Okay, he starts with his infomercial product. I'm sure you guys have seen it. He's also it's on home shopping networks, on TV. It's everywhere, right? He's got the Ultimate Edge. Online, he's selling it. It's a trial. You come in for free plus shipping, and then it ends up being $300 for the Ultimate Edge. There's his front end. Then from there, he upsells you to his first event called Unleash the Power Within for $500 to $2,500, which, by the way, is an amazing event you should go to. I've been to it twice. You get to walk on fire. It's awesome. If you haven't gone yet, make it a point in your life to go as soon as you can. It's awesome, okay? The UPW, while you're at that event, after the end of him providing so much value for you, at the end of it, he pitches his Date with Destiny program. Okay, Date with Destiny is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on if you're buying it with his whole Master University or just by itself. And boom, he's ascended you up the value ladder. Now, Date with Destiny, by the way, is also an amazing program. My wife and I went a few years ago. It's a week long of Tony going into some of the most amazing things. Okay, but he's providing more value. Now, Date with Destiny pitches you on his live coaching / continuity, which is $2,500 a month to have one of his life coaches coach you. And he also sells you on his Platinum Partnership program, which is $60,000 a year and above. Okay, Tony gets it. Tony's got a great value ladder. Okay, here's another one. Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer. This is a picture of me with them. They come in at the beginning of their value ladder. They got a gold newsletter, $50 a month. They upgrade you to silver, which is $250 a month. There's a peak performers group with $6,800 a year, and then the platinum group, which is $20,000 a year, and then they have their titanium, which is $30,000 a year and beyond. Okay, perfect value ladder. All right, you guys getting this? So for all of you guys right now, we got to figure out what is your value ladder. Now, for some of you guys, you already have a front end. Some of you guys already have a back end. Some of you guys already have a middle thing, but you don't have the full thing. Okay, and obviously we're going to spend more time outside of this training for you brainstorming and thinking about it, but I want you to spend about a minute right now kind of thinking about it. Now, again, this is something you can evolve later. You can figure out what the hooks are going to be on each of these, what they're going to be, the price points. All that stuff can change. For now, I just want you thinking about that. Like, what is your value ladder going to look like? Okay, where can you start with your people? How can you provide more value to them, and where do you want to take them? Okay. If I come back here, you guys, to this image I showed you earlier. We got so many slides here going through. I'm sorry. All right. This image right here. Okay, where is it? Where am I going to take them? Again, a product is just a tool in the business, you guys. It's a tool to provide value, to send somebody to where you actually want to take them. Okay, for all you guys here on this webinar, I want you guys in my inner circle. Okay, that's where I want to take you. If I can get you there, I can do so much more for you. Okay, what's that for you? Where do you want to take somebody? Where's that spot that if you could get them there, you could provide so much value, it would just blow their mind? Okay. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to reverse engineer that a little bit. Okay, because a lot of people say, well, Russell, that sounds awesome, but how do I do that? How am I going to get there? And so this is an exercise that I call 100 clicks a day. All right, and this is kind of what it looks like. So the first thing you got to figure out is over here on the right hand side is how much money do you actually want to make per month? Okay, and I always ask this to people during my intake calls with them, to our clients. How much money do you want to make per month? And usually they come back, I need $1 million a month. I'm like, come on, you don't need $1 million a month. Yeah, I need to make at least $1 million a month. I'm like, okay, well let's be realistic, because ideally we want to grow big like that. Okay, and if you guys already have companies, you want to grow companies at that point, that's fine. But again, we're talking about building a lifestyle business here. So what I like to do initially is figure out, like, what do I actually need to live my dream lifestyle? Okay, and so start thinking about, like, for you to live your dream lifestyle, what do you need? Okay, obviously one thing we need is a house. I've been looking at houses recently, and I was looking at like a $2 million house, and the monthly payment on a $2 million house is like $1,200 or $12,000 a month. Okay, I want a Ferrari, so I had drive a Ferrari, but if I was to go buy that, the monthly payments on a Ferrari are probably $3,000 or $4,000 a month. So if you take the $12,000 plus that, we're like $15,000 now. If I want to travel a lot, maybe I do like 3 big vacations a year. If I budget that out, I'm probably looking at another $2,000 a month. I got my food, I got my everything else. Like if I want to live in a $2 million house, $2 million a year house, drive a Ferrari, and travel three times a year, and live pretty good, I can do that on about $20,000 a month. Okay? And so for most of you guys who want to make $1 million a month, I get that, and you can grow to that. But let's talk about what you need to do right now to get to what you actually need for your dream lifestyle. Okay, for most of you guys, I promise you, $20,000 a month is more than you will ever need to be happy. Okay, that's more than I pay myself. It's more than I've ever paid myself. And obviously, we've grown companies way bigger than that, but it's just not that. You don't need more than that to live a great life. Okay, so right here, let's just put for this demonstration for per month, we're gonna write $20,000 here. Okay, so again, 20K right here on the how much we make per month. Now, in my business, there's gonna be two ways I'm kind of making that money. One is from my continuity income, and down here is from my back end high ticket sales. Okay, so I'm basing this off of this is the only place I'm gonna make any kind of profit. All right, now. For me to make $20,000 a month, I'm going to say I'm going to make $10,000 a month of that here in continuity. So in this line right here, I'm going to write 10,000. And $10,000 a month I want coming from my back end. Okay, so I'm going to write 10,000 here. Okay, you guys see how this works? It's 10,000, 10,000. Okay, I'll make sure you guys have a handout with this as well, so you can go back through and fill this out for yourself. But I have 10,000 up here, 10,000 down here. Okay, now up here for continuity, for me to make $10,000 a month in continuity, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. But for this purpose, I'm going to say, let's say we're selling a continuity program that's $50 a month. So right here during the dollar sign, I'll put $50. $50 a month. Now, $50 a month, how many people do I need to be able to make $10,000 a month? Who knows the math on that? Okay, this M right here is for members. I need to have 200 members paying me $50 a month for me to make $10,000 a month. Does that make sense? Okay, so I need 200 people pay me $50 a month to make 10 grand. All right, and then down here, if I need to make $10,000 for my high ticket thing, okay, and let's say my high ticket product is gonna be $5,000. So right here in the dollar sign, I'll put $5,000, and in the M I'm gonna put 2 because I need to sell 2 of those. 2 of my $5,000 packages make $10,000 a month. Okay, so there we are. All right, so now I'm gonna reverse engineer that. So that's what I want to be able to get to be able to make my $20,000 a month. All right. Okay, so over here, right here it says NM. This stands for new members. Down here is apps for like applications for my backend program. Okay. So for me, I'll do backend really quick first. So if I need I need 2 new coaching clients a month at $5,000 a piece to make my 10 grand. So if I'm a horrible salesperson and I'm the worst ever, and I close only 10%. That means I need 20 applications a month. So 20 people a month need to apply for my coaching program. And if I only close 1 out of 10, which is very, very realistic with what we'll be showing you guys today, that'll get me to the $10,000 a month from 20 applications a month. Okay, it's less than 1 application a day. Think about it, if you spend 8 hours a day on your business to get 1 person to apply for your coaching program, think you could do it? It's not that hard, especially when you start learning all this stuff we'll be showing you guys. Okay, now I'm moving here to continuity. Right here we got NM, new members. I figure with continuity, you got people coming and they're leaving, right? So every month I need about 25%. I need to add 25% of the members I want to keep because I'm going to lose about 25% a month. So right here I put 25%, which for this situation, because I have 200 members, that's going to be about 50 new members a month I need to have. Okay? All right, so you guys got this part so far? All right. Now down here, this is traffic I'm driving to my initial sales funnel. And we're talking a lot about sales and marketing funnels today, but this is my initial sales funnel. I call it a POS funnel, point of sale. So it's gonna be like my free plus shipping thing, my upsell, my second upsell. I'm gonna say in this situation that all we do is we break even. So I drive traffic this thing and I don't make money. I don't make a penny. I put $1 in and I break even, I make $1 back out. Okay, so right down here it says SLO, it stands for self-liquidating offer, SLO. So this my first thing I sell people, the bottom of my value ladder is a self-liquidating offer. My goal is for it to break even. And if I can break even, then I'll make money on all the stuff back here. Okay? Remember we said it earlier? Amateurs focus on the front end. I promise you that 90% of your competitors or more, this is their entire business. This little thing right here, the point of sale funnel. Okay, for me, the only goal of that is to break even. Okay, for most people, the only goal of that is that's their entire business. And I want you guys thinking bigger than that because amateurs don't focus on the front end, right? Professionals like us, we focus back here. All right, so, and again, all these terms, we're going to be going deeper in this throughout this thing. And this is kind of just a quick sketch. You guys know it's a lot to see right now, but this is kind of conceptually how it works. All right, so to do that, so if I'm going to get 50 new members a month down here, that means I need to get let's say I get 30% of my buyers to join my continuity program. So I'll put 30% right here. That means each month I need 150 buyers. So 150 would go right here in this spot. Now 150 buyers. And I'm going to show you guys some really cool ways to do free plus shipping offers and stuff. But if we get 5% of the people who see our free plus shipping offer to become a buyer, that means we need 3,000 people to click a month. So 3,000 people click, 5% of those become buyers. It gives us 150 buyers. 30% of those join our continuity program, which fills out all the rest. So it's 3,000 clicks a month, which if you break that down day by day, that's 100 clicks a day. Okay? So if you guys look at this funnel, how it all works, if I get 100 clicks a day, that's 3,000 clicks a month. 5% of those people become buyers. That's 150 buyers. 30% of those people will buy my continuity. So it drops down here, 50 people, which gives me 50 people times 4 months is $200 or 200 people gives me $10,000 a month down here, and then it fills out my applications here. So literally for 100 clicks a month, you guys, if you create your sales and your marketing funnel like we'll be showing you, that'll be a $20,000 a month net business very, very quickly. Okay, you guys getting this? Cool. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about a lot, you guys, is how to build funnels like this to be able to do all these different pieces. How do you create a point of sale sales funnel? How do you build a continuity funnel? How do you build your back-end funnels? Because when you have all these things in place, it gets really, really easy to get to your goals fast. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people who are on this call are making more than $20,000 a month now. Some of you guys are making $100,000. Some of you guys are making more. I know your businesses. And that's okay. Just change these numbers. Say, I need to be making $200,000 a month and just tweak it all. I need to be making $2 million a month, and you can tweak it all. But I like having this formula because it shows me exactly what I need. The worst case scenario, the least amount of clicks I need to have each day to be able to get the kind of income I need. Okay. Now, some of you guys may say, well, Russell, I don't want to do continuity. I just want a back end thing. Okay. You can tweak the numbers like this to make it work for just a back end business. Or maybe you don't want to do back end, you just want a continuity. Same thing, you can tweak the numbers and just do a continuity business. But I always like reverse engineering that ahead of time, because if I know exactly how many clicks I need to get per day, then I can start just working on building out the funnel, and then we start watching it. We get 100 clicks, we see if how many of those people converted here and here and here, and if something's broken, then I can tweak the numbers till we get it perfect. Okay, so that's kind of how you can turn 100 clicks a day into a $20,000 a month net business. All right, so that kind of covers the first section, you guys, which was all about designing your dream lifestyle business. Okay, now we're gonna shift over to section number 2, and this is where for me it starts getting really exciting. Okay, we're gonna start talking about where do we find and how do we communicate with our dream customers. Okay, if you understand this stuff, this is where I really think it starts becoming magical when you start understanding these pieces of it. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. So the first thing I want you to understand again is there's 3 types of traffic. Okay, and something that I wish more people would talk about. One day I was sitting there, I was focusing on a presentation for some of our inner circle members, and I was thinking about just conceptually this whole business. I was trying to figure out how to make it simple, and all of a sudden I realized that there are 3 types of traffic, and with that there are 3 types of websites. I said when you understand that, it suddenly becomes really, really easy to get traffic. So let me show you how this works. Okay, 3 types of traffic. First type of traffic is traffic that you control. Okay. Second type is traffic that you don't control. And the third is traffic that you own. Okay, I'm going to say a couple things here that we're going to kind of go over really, really, really fast. I'm going to come back over and go through it a couple times so it'll make perfect sense to you by the time we get here. Okay. So the first thing I want you to understand before we dive too much into that is you have to understand how traffic on the internet kind of works. Okay. And this is what when I first got this, it's what made this whole internet marketing thing just make sense to me. Okay, I started thinking about just the fact that people online, they congregate together based on similar beliefs and values. Okay, so when I think about the word congregation, what do you typically think of when you guys hear the word congregation? Okay, for most of you guys, most of you guys are saying it right now. So you hear the word congregation, you think of a church, right? Churches, they have congregations of people who congregate together based on similar beliefs and similar values. Am I right? And so you have to understand that. And so when we know that, if we know that all of the Baptists are congregating together in one central location, okay? All of the Mormons are congregating together. All of the Catholics are congregating together. Okay, they're self-congregating themselves together. And after we know that, if I was selling something to Mormons, where would I go? I'd go to the Mormon church because every single week, all of them congregate together and they're hanging out. And it's literally like putting your fishing pole into water and pulling out who you want. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you guys now or ever to sell things to churches. But what I want to show you is when we talked about this earlier, we talked about where. This is the key, guys. When you understand this where, this is, if you look at traffic online, okay, everyone's always figuring out how do I get traffic, how do I get traffic? And they think it's like this magical thing, but traffic is not magical. This is what happens. Online people, they congregate together based on similar beliefs and values. Okay, when I was wrestling and I was in college, we had this mandatory study hall every single night because I guess they assumed that wrestlers were dumb and that we weren't going to do our homework. And it was actually very true. But all of us had to do 2 hours of mandatory study hall every single night. So we'd all go to the study hall, and there were computers, and all of us would jump on the computers, and every single one of us, every night, would get on one website. We'd go to themat.com, we'd sit there, and we'd jump on the message boards, and we'd talk about wrestling for 2 hours every single night. And guess what was interesting? That was happening at every single college around the country and around the world, and every single high school as well. Everyone who was anyone who cared about wrestling, they were all congregating themselves together on one central website. Okay. Now, me as a marketer, if I was going after wrestlers, where would I throw my bait? Okay, I'd go to mat.com. I'd be buying banner ads, I'd be buying email ads, I'd be doing everything I can to fish people out of that pond because that's where they're congregating. Okay, whatever business you're in right now, I promise you, people are congregating, they're congregating. And so for us, we got to figure out where are those people congregating? What websites are they on? What forums do they read? What on Facebook? What groups are they in? What keywords are they searching for in Google? Where are those people at? What email newsletters do they read? What blogs are they on? Because again, it comes back. If I know exactly who my target market is and I can figure out exactly where they're congregating, traffic becomes really easy, you guys. All I got to do is I got to find where they're at and throw my bait in the pond. Buy a banner ad. Send an email out to the customer list, okay? Throw some bait out, and boom, I got him. And I can take him where I want him to go. Is that making sense, you guys? So that's the key to traffic. We understand that. Traffic becomes very, very easy. Okay. Now, like I said, there's 3 types of traffic. Traffic you control, traffic you don't control, and traffic that you own. So traffic that you control, this is like I don't own the traffic at Google, right? Google owns that. So I don't own it, but I can control it. I can go to Google, I can sign up for an account, and Google let me pay them to be able to control that traffic. I can say, hey, Google, here's $1 for every single person that clicks on my ad. When they click on it, send them over here. Same thing with Facebook. Go to Facebook. Hey, Facebook, you got a ton of people here. Here's $1. Every time someone clicks, put them over here to my website. Okay, I can buy ads in people's email newsletters. I can buy banner ads. Same concept. I don't own that traffic. Okay, Google or Facebook or the person who owns the email list or the blog, they own that traffic. But I can come and I can control that by buying ads on those platforms. Okay, that's traffic I control. Now, anytime there's traffic I control, I always send traffic I control to some kind of squeeze page. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But all traffic I control needs to go to a squeeze page. Okay, second type of traffic is traffic that I don't control. Okay, this is traffic that just shows up on my website randomly. Like someone on social media says something about me, and all of a sudden people start coming to my website, and I didn't control that. They just show up. Okay, or somebody goes into Google and they type in something weird, and my website pops up on the top 10 results, and they just show up. Okay, a good example of that is a couple of years ago, somebody wrote an article about me, and they said, Russell Brunson is a little snot. And I took the article and I posted it on my blog, and a couple of days later, one of my SEO guys came into the office laughing and giggling. He said, hey, go to Google and type in little snot. And guess what? At the time, I don't know if I still have or not, but if you typed in little snot into Google, guess who was number 1 in Google for little snot? It was me. Okay, now obviously that is not very targeted, but what's interesting is that if somebody was to go to Google and type in little snot and they saw I was ranked number 1, they clicked on that, somehow they show up on my website and I didn't control that person, they just randomly showed up. I don't know how they got there, they just did. Okay, so anytime anything search engine related is traffic I don't control. Same thing with like press. Okay, if I get on TV or a blogger writes about me or something like that, I can get a ton of people to my website, tons of traffic, but I don't know how they got there. I don't control them. I can't create that. I mean, you can do things to manipulate it, but I don't control that. It just kind of happens. So for traffic I don't control, I usually send them to my blog. And on my blog, you'll notice that I've got a goal. My goal is to get their email address. Okay. Now the third type of traffic is the best. This is traffic that I own. Okay. For me right now, I have an email list of over 500,000 people who have subscribed to my email list, and I own that traffic. Every day I wake up and I say, where should I send this traffic? I say, I want to send it to this website over here. And I can write a little email, I click send, and boom, instantly 500,000 people get a message from me, and I'll get thousands and thousands of clicks, and that traffic goes wherever I want because I own that traffic. Okay, that's the best kind of traffic. That traffic is free. The other kind costs money. Okay, traffic you control, I got to pay Google or Facebook every time someone clicks on an ad. Traffic I don't control, it magically shows up. You can pay people to do SEO and write press releases and do stuff, but it's just not something I can rely on. Traffic I own is the best. So when I know that, my goal as a marketer, as someone who's driving traffic, is to convert all traffic that I control and all traffic I don't control into traffic that I own. Okay, the way I do that is I drive these people through a little website that we call a squeeze page. They come to this page, they put their email address in, they click submit, and then what happens? That person's added to my email list. Boom, now it's traffic that I own. It's the best. Okay, someone writes a blog post about me, they go to DotComSecrets.com, they show up on my page, they see at the very top, if you notice any of my blogs, the top 1/3, my entire goal is to get their name and their email address. So they come to my site, they put in their email address, and boom, all of a sudden, guess what? Now I own that traffic. Okay, guys, because this is the best. So I'm learning about traffic. I got to find out where those people are at, but I got to convert those people from traffic that I control and that I don't control into traffic that I own. Because when I own that traffic, man, you guys, that's when this whole internet marketing game becomes amazing. Okay, I first learned that when I was getting started. I remember, man, it's probably over 10 years ago now. I was reading an article of this guy, and he was talking about. He said, "I'm sure you've seen online all these gurus talking about how they made $50,000 or $100,000 in a day or $1 million in a day." He says, "You probably thought those things were scams, right?" And me as a 21, 22-year-old kid, I was like, "Yeah, there's no way that's not even in reality. People I know make $20,000 a year, let alone in a day." Okay, and so I was reading the article and it totally just caught me. He said, "No, the reality is those things are true, you guys." So this is how it works. He says that a person, a guru or whatever, starts building an email list. And let's say first they build a list of 1,000 people, then 10,000, then 100,000, then 1,000,000. Okay, let's say you have a list of 100,000 people, and you send an email out to that list of 100,000 people, and you get just 1% of those people to open. Okay, that's what, 10,000 opens, and you get 1% of those people to buy. That's, man, horrible math. What's that? 100 purchases, and they're buying a $50 product. What did you just make? You just made $5,000 by sending an email to your list, and that was in one day. What if I send an email out to my list tomorrow? What if I get more people to open it? What if I sell for more than $50? What if I do a webinar, I sell something for $2,000 or $5,000? What if I sell a high-end coaching program for $20,000? Okay, it opened up my eyes to the fact that, man, when I own traffic, when I build my own list, everything becomes easy. Okay, this internet marketing game, for those who are struggling right now, you will only be struggling until you have converted this traffic into traffic you own. I literally feel like when we start a new company, it's always like kind of pushing this boulder up a hill because we're pushing it, we're creating the offer, driving traffic, we're getting some people. But after a little bit, all of a sudden, I start building up my own list, and then it just takes off. Then I own that traffic, and literally for the rest of your life, you will be grossly overpaid because you own that traffic. I can send it anywhere I want. I can make up an idea in the middle of the night, create a product really quick, send down an email, and boom, make $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Okay, it sounds too good to be true, you guys, but it happens every single day. And that's how it does, by focusing on this, on building up the traffic that you own. Okay, so here's examples of what squeeze pages look like. Most of you guys have probably seen it before. It's just a page that somebody comes to, and they give you their email address. Okay, so any traffic that I control, I always want to send them to a squeeze page. Because my goal initially is not to sell them anything. My goal is to get them to give me their email address. When I have their email address, it's cash in the bank. Okay, one of the metrics we try to base our business off of is we want to make $1 per month per name on my email address. Okay, and it kind of stays similar to that. When I had a list of about 100 people, I was making about $100 a month. When I had a list of 1,000 people, I was making about $1,000 a month. My list was about 10,000 people, I was making about $10,000 a month. Hit 100,000, I was $100,000 a month. Hit 500,000, and it keeps going on from there. So those are some of the metrics you can kind of look at as you're building your list. To know if you're kind of on track, if you're doing it right. Okay, so that's an example of squeeze page. That's where we send traffic we control. This is where we send traffic we don't control to our blog. And notice the top of my blog, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to convert this traffic into traffic I own. I want them to join my Facebook because now I own that traffic. I want them to join my list because now I own that traffic. Now I can do all sorts of cool stuff with them, right? Okay, so again, my goal, you guys, to kind of put this in perspective, all the traffic I control, all the traffic I don't control, I'm sending them some kind of squeeze page to get them to give me their email address. Okay, then I'm going to take them through this little sales funnel where I sell them a product, and then I probably have an upsell. So this is my first sales funnel. We're going to talk a lot about that here in about an hour. My first sales funnel. And my goal and this is going to seem backwards to you guys, but hopefully you're getting it now, is not to make money on this. My goal is to break even. Okay, if I can break even on this, I'm not like the amateurs focusing on the front end. My goal is to break even on this, and guess what happens? Now I've got a list, and my list, I can sell them continuity. I can sell them my high ticket products. I can sell them other offers, and everything back here, pure profit. Okay, because I don't have to pay for the ad anymore. They're on my list. I own them. Everything back here I sell, I keep all the money. I don't know about you guys, but I like keeping all the money. Not some of it, all of it. And this is how you do it. Okay, by converting traffic I control, traffic I don't control, into traffic that I own. We convert it through a little sales funnel like this. Okay? All right, you guys getting excited yet? Because now I'm going to show you how to build all these pieces. We're getting closer and closer to that, but I hope you're getting excited just by how these pieces all kind of fit together. All right. So where do we get all this traffic? Okay, there's 5 core places we get traffic. One is from email lists. Okay, we find somebody else who's got an email list and we buy an ad in their email newsletter. Okay, we talked about the importance of having your own list. Okay, imagine you find somebody else who has a list of 100,000 people already. You just go to that list and you buy an ad in it. Okay, it works just like the old school days of direct mail. You go and you rent a direct mail list and you mail out a letter. Nowadays it's happening through email. Next is Facebook. Okay, here's a picture of a guy named Drew Canoli. Drew is a really cool guy. I actually hung out with him about a week ago. And he's got 1.2 million followers on Facebook. Okay, now Facebook is very similar to old school networking, right? You used to go to networking events. Now you go on Facebook. So if I had an offer, I go to Drew and say, hey, you got 1.2 million people. You've got this pond of people here. I want to buy an ad. I want to throw my bait into your pond and start pulling people out, right? Okay, Facebook. YouTube. This is a dude... This guy cracks me up. He's a juicing dude. Check out this video. He's got 301,000 people who watched this video so far. I think this is 154,000 people who are watching his videos about juicing. If I had a juicing product, I'd go to this dude and be like, hey man, you've got a pond. You've got my dream clients are there. Can I buy an ad from your site? Can I bid on your videos? Can you make a video with me? How can I tap into this pond? Okay, so we get traffic from YouTube. Okay, podcasts are a huge thing right now. Podcasts are the equivalent of what radio used to be. Okay, finding people's podcasts and buying advertising there. Blogs are the equivalent of newspapers. Okay, buying ads on blogs is huge. So for me, when we've created this offer, where do I get the traffic from? I'm looking at these 5 things: email, Facebook, YouTube, podcast, blog. Okay, what's interesting is back in the day, if I had a business 15 years ago, I'd be doing the exact same thing, but it's a little different. Okay, old media, what would I do? I'd go find direct mail email list or direct mail list. I'd send a letter out to them. Today, do it through email. Okay, if I want to make money, I'd go to networking meetings. What do I do today? Today I go to Facebook. Back then I would go buy ads on TV. Now what do I do? Go buy them on YouTube. Okay, back then I'd go buy ads on the radio. Now I buy ads on podcasts. Used to buy ads in newspapers. Now I buy them on blogs. Okay, you guys see what's happening? If you look at what's happening right now, the internet has changed media. Okay, and what's cool for people like you and me is all these old school media are expensive. Okay, direct mail, I got to stamp, I got to pay for paper, I got to pay all this stuff to make this happen. Email, cheap. Networking, I had to go to events and all this kind of stuff. I had to travel, I do all sorts of things. Facebook's free. TV ads, super expensive. YouTube ads, super cheap. Radio ads, super expensive. Podcasts, cheap. Newspaper, expensive. Blogs, cheap. And guess what? Where are the eyeballs today? They're all right here. Okay, so this is where we get our traffic from, you guys. This is where those congregations are at. We find, again, we talked about who's our target, who's our dream client, and then where are they congregating. Okay, and they're going to be congregating on email, on Facebook, on YouTube, podcasts, and blogs. Okay, now for you guys, you need to become a master at 2 of these things. Okay, very rare do I find someone who's good at all 5 of these. I would not recommend it. You need to become good at 2 of them, and one of these 2 has to be email. Okay, so one of them has to be email, and we're talking a lot about it because you have to build your own list. So email you've got to become good at. But then the other one is some people are good at Facebook, some people are good at YouTube, some are good at podcasts, some are good at blogs. You don't have to do all of them. In fact, you shouldn't do all of them. You should do one of them. Okay, are you a good networker? If so, it's Facebook. Okay, are you a great on video? If so, it should be YouTube. Are you good at radio? You should be a podcast. Are you a good writer? It should be blogs. So think about yourself. What's your core strength? Are you a better networker, better on video, better on audio, or better writer? And based on that is which media you should be focusing on yourself. Okay, and we'll talk more about this in a little bit, but just to kind of get the wheels in your head spinning about how this whole thing works. All right. Okay, now we kind of talked about traffic and that kind of thing. I want to show you guys how to reverse engineer a funnel. Okay, when I first got into this business, one of my early mentors was a guy named Stephen Pierce, And Steven's a smart guy, and I remember he told me one day, he said, you know, Russell, people always ask me, like, how do you create traffic? He said, you don't have to create traffic. Traffic's already there. You just have to figure out how to get your message out in front of it. And so I started thinking about that. I said, man, that's true. So there's all this traffic already happening. I got to get my message in front of it, but who are the people that are already making money there? Like, who's already in that river of traffic? Who's already in that pond making money? How are they doing it? I want to find out exactly what they're doing. Because if I can figure out what they're doing, I can just reverse engineer that and get as close to what they're doing as possible. Okay, so we started going through and started figuring this out. So this is the process we go through when we're trying to figure out where traffic's at and what people are doing that already works. Okay, I promise you guys, if you do this exercise that I'm going to show you guys, you will be 1,000 times closer to being successful than most people who get started. Okay, so it starts over here with the where. Okay, where are your people at? Now you're going to find there's direct competitors and then there's indirect competitors. Okay, direct competitor is somebody who's selling the exact same thing as you. Okay, I got a weight loss product. Boom, there's a guy selling the weight loss product. Okay, that's a direct competitor. Okay, indirect competitor is I got a weight loss product. There's a guy selling a juicing product. Similar audience, not a direct competitor. Maybe I can buy ads over there. So I'm looking for these traffic streams. That's why we designed this to look like little streams, right? So my direct traffic stream and my indirect traffic stream. Okay, so where are those things at? Next, I got to find out is these 5 elements. Okay, after I know where other people are at, my competitors are at, what are they doing? Okay, who are the demographics they're targeting? What's their offer? What's their landing page look like? What are their traffic sources? What ad copy is working for them? Okay, I need to know what these 5 things are. And after I know what these 5 things are, I'm going to model what works. I'm going to find out what's working and I'm going to model it. Okay? The worst thing you can do is go into a new business and try just to make something up from scratch. Model what's already working. I learned this from Tony Robbins. He talked about like everything he's wanted to do in his life. He's like, I found the best person in the world. I looked at him, I modeled him, and then I was successful very, very quickly. Okay, I've got coaching students who that's one of the main reasons why they join our coaching. Russell, you're successful. You've proven it. I want to model you. I'm going to get in at the highest level and just figure out how to do exactly what you're doing, right? So they model what works. So let me show you guys how to find this out, because this is really kind of a cool process. So the first step is you got to find out who else is selling what you want to be selling. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. You probably know who your competitors are already. If you don't, one of my favorite sites to find this information out is a site called ClickBank. If you go to clickbank.com, the ClickBank is kind of like Amazon Kindle store, except their products don't go on the Kindle. But before Amazon came out, they were the biggest digital information selling company in the world. Okay, so basically ebooks. They have ebooks on every topic in the world. I think they have over 100,000 different products in here. If I come to clickbank.com, at the very top here, there's a little button that says Marketplace. I click on Marketplace. It takes me to this page right here. Make that a little bigger for you guys. And on the side here is all the categories. Okay, so you can find out everything you can dream of. So if I have a product in the parenting and families niche, I click here. If I've got it'll show me what's selling from the top selling to the bottom selling. So what's cool about this is check this out. I can see that right now, smart potty training is the #1 selling product in the parenting and family market. So if I don't know what a product I'm going to sell yet, maybe I'll create a smart potty training product, right? Okay, the pregnancy miracles, #2. Pregnancy products, #3. Plan My Baby. Some Spanish ones, #4, and you can see that way, right? Let's say I'm more in like the health and fitness space, and click here. It's going to show me all the health and fitness offers. Okay, and like I said, it'll show me from the best selling down, so I can know exactly what the hot offer is, which one's making the most money. Okay, so right now on ClickBank, as of today, the top selling offer is called the Venus Factor, and just put this in perspective, you guys. I've had a couple friends who've hit the #1 spot in ClickBank in the weight loss space, and they were making between 2,000 and 3,000 sales a day at a $47 product. If you do the math on that, it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day that they're making. So you know this is working. They're driving a lot of traffic. They're testing a lot of things. So instead of me trying to reinvent this thing from scratch, I want to kind of look at what's working and model it. So I'm going to go to their website and look at it, and find out a couple things. Find out what their landing page looks like. I may say this page is ugly, but man, if it's making 100 grand a day, maybe it's worth it. Here's their pop-up. Ooh, their headlines, #1 cause of belly fat for women. That must be something that's working because they're testing a lot of stuff. Hello. There's the video. I'm going to watch the entire video. And next time I'm going to buy the product. Okay. I can't tell you guys how much value there is in buying your competitors' products, especially the competitors who are doing really, really well, to find out what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I'm going to watch this video. A lot of times for me, I'll send this video to somebody and have them transcribe it so I can read the exact words they use in that video. I'm going to buy the product. After I buy it, I'm going to see what the upsells are. I'm going to see what the downsells are. I'm going to see everything that's happening. So I want a very clear view of exactly what's working, what the price points are, what their hooks are, what their angles are. So I'll do it for Venus Factor. I'll probably do it for Old School New Body. I'm gonna do it for MI40. I'm gonna go through all of the best products in here, and I'm gonna buy the ones that are similar to mine, so I know exactly what's currently working. Okay. Because back here, I want to find out what the offer is, what the landing page is. Okay. So far, we've got the first three. Demographics will tie back into traffic source a little bit, but we know exactly what offers are working for our direct competitors, and then the landing pages that are working. Landing page is that page that we landed on. Now I got to find out the traffic sources. Okay, there's a couple services you can use, but this one's really cool. It's called similarweb.com. So if you go similarweb.com/website/ and then type into your competitor's name, it's going to pop up all this cool stuff about what they're doing. Okay, now this is a free version. They also have a pro version, but you can get a lot of data for free. So so here's the website again, venusfactor.com. So I went over here, I went to similarweb.com/website/venusfactor.com, and I click submit. And it's going to show me a whole bunch of cool stuff about these guys. Okay? It shows me their ranks, it shows me how many monthly visitors they're getting. So December they're getting over 1 million, they're getting 1.4 million people a month. Checks out in March. March they got 3.5 million people. Isn't that crazy? And you see it's kind of dropping right now. I mean, they're still getting, millions of people a month, but you can kind of see what's happening, the trends, what's going up and what's going down. I can see their traffic sources that 28% came directly to their website, 56% came through referrals, 2% came from search engines, 11% came through social media, through email, through display ads. So I can kind of see that. I can see the geography of where they live. Wow, almost everyone's coming from there. A couple people from here. So if I know that, man, I'm probably not going to spend money in all these other countries when I'm buying ads, right? A couple people who are in India are buying it. A couple people in Australia, but for the most part, there's their money makers. Here's the websites that they're getting traffic from: justformetoday.com, fastdailyfind.com, usmagazine.com. So these are the websites that they're buying ads on. Okay, so I know that a big percentage of this, 3.5 million people. I know their top referring site is justformetoday.com. So if I went to there, I'm sure there's banner ads. I could probably buy ads on that site. Okay, but I would guess that they're probably getting $100,000 to $500,000 visitors a month just from this website. So if I know that's where the existing stream of traffic's at. Where am I going to buy traffic from? Okay, right there. Fast Daily Find. So this is showing me all the websites that are currently getting traffic from. So I can reverse engineer that and just buy ads directly on those sites. Okay, it shows me search traffic, shows me what keywords they're focusing on, which ones they're getting traffic from the free keywords and then also the paid keywords. Okay, so I can start seeing what's working. Social media, I can see most of the traffic coming from Facebook. There's also traffic coming from cafemom.com. I don't even know what that is. I go check that out and find out what it is and see if I can buy ads on Cafe Mom. Okay, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. Display advertising shows me again. Here's all the sites they're buying display on YouTube, cuttingedgebiotech.com. Is that cool? You guys can see exactly where they're buying traffic from. Okay, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, Russell, what sites are you buying traffic on? I would, for no amount of money would I have told you, because those sites are making me like millions of dollars, right? But this service and other services like this, I can just go in 5 seconds, find out exactly where my competitors are buying traffic, and then I just go buy it on the exact same sites. Okay. What's cool is here shows ads. You can see what their ads look like. So then after I know their ads, I'm going to model their ads. Okay, that's what that looks like. 15 veggies that kill belly fat. Anyway, there's a bunch of different ads right here. Their text ads. Let me see their text ads. It might not. The flash ads. Anyway, you can see different types of ads. You can see a whole bunch of different cool stuff like that. And if you upgrade to Pro, you guys, it'll give you even more of their ads. But you can see the ads. When you upgrade to Pro, it shows you how long their ads have run, what they're doing, all sorts of stuff like that. Where are we at? Anyway, do you guys see that? Here's similar sites, so you get more ideas where I can buy ads on. But this is how I can reverse engineer exactly what's working in the market I want to go into. Now I don't have to guess. I can just be like, hey, there's where they're buying traffic. Let's buy it there as well. Boom. So you guys see, this is how the process works again. Okay, I find out who are my direct and my indirect competitors. I'm going to run some searches and find out what they're selling, who the demographics are, what the offer is. Again, you have to buy the product, see it, find out what the offer is, the front end, the upsells, the downsells, what they email me, all that kind of stuff. And find out what the landing page is, where their traffic sources are, then what's the ad copy that's getting people to click and to come over. Okay. Now for me, I will never go into a market if I have two unknowns. Maybe I can't find their ad copy, but I want to know all the rest of it. Okay. If you have two things you don't know, you need to do more research. You need to get a lot deeper. Okay. Now to find out what works, then just model what works. Okay, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Say this guy, their process is this. They're selling a product at this point. Their upsells this. The downsells this. Let's make something very, very similar and just kind of model what's working. Okay. All right. Cool. So that's how we reverse engineer a funnel and find out exactly what our competitors are doing. Okay. All right, guys. I know we're covering a lot of stuff. We've been going for about an hour 23 so far. And I know this is a lot of stuff, very intensive, and we're doing a lot of stuff. But I hope you're enjoying it so far. And again, I promise you initially be overwhelmed a little bit, and I hope you are getting that way. But the key with it right now is I want to give you guys like a brain dump of a ton of stuff, because it'll open up your eyes to just the whole picture. Too many of us get into this business and we're learning like a little piece and then a little piece and a little piece. And because of that, it's hard to make all the connections you need to really be successful with it, right? So my goal right now is just to dump everything. Here's the whole picture for you, and you'll be overwhelmed, but then you'll see the whole picture. And now you can come back and we can dig specifically into each of the little pieces and figure out what this is and what this is and how to do that, how to change that, and how to tweak that. Okay. So that's kind of how this works. All right. So next thing we're going to shift into you guys now we've shown kind of, where we can find our audience. The second part of the section is how do we communicate with that audience, okay? And we communicate through a concept I call the attractive character. Now, I initially learned this whole concept from one of my friends who's in the dating market. His name is John Alanis, and John teaches men how to get women to approach them, okay? Now, I don't know about you guys, but for most men, that's like the dream offer, right? I don't want to talk to girls. I'm scared of them. I want girls to come to me. And that's what he teaches, and that's what he kind of coaches on is that how to do that. So anyway, I heard him speak one time at a marketing seminar. I thought he was awesome. I had him come speak at one of my events. And in my event, he started talking about this concept called the attractive character. And I still remember like it was yesterday. He was in front of the audience and he said, look, you guys are selling all sorts of stuff. I'm selling a bunch of different stuff. He's like, but what I found is that he said that the law of attraction is the same whether you're trying to get people to, like, if you're one of my guys on my list who are trying to get women to approach them, or if you're in business and you're trying to get customers to come to you, the laws of attraction are the same. He says that we start that process by creating an attractive character. And I remember we started talking about this, I had some big ahas, and it just kind of opened my mind. And this is kind of the core concept behind the attractive character. And I'm going to break all this stuff down for you here in a minute. But first I want to kind of just give you guys some ideas about how this attractive character works. So a good example, this is one of my buddies. His name is Jacob Hiller. And some of you guys may know Jacob. He is literally one of my favorite people on earth. He's really cool. And so Jacob likes to jump. Okay, that's one of his favorite things. He jumps like crazy. And when he was in college, he just liked it so much he started making videos and posting them on YouTube about how he liked jumping and teach people how he jumped and things to increase your vertical and all sorts of stuff, right? And he started making all these YouTube videos, and guess what happened? He was so passionate and excited about jumping, he started getting this huge audience of people who were interested, and they started following him, and he started building up his platform. You know, I don't know if Jacob was doing this intentionally. I don't think he was. I think he was just passionate about a topic, and he started just putting value out there in the world. Okay, and for most of you guys, depending where you are in your business, this is a great place to start. Pick your passion, just start putting it out there, giving away, making videos or blogging or whatever platform you're the most comfortable with putting it out there. For him, it was YouTube. And he's just dumping all these videos, and people started loving him, and he started getting 1,000 followers, then 10,000. They kept growing from there, and eventually all these people just loved him. He built this attractive character, and everyone loved what he was teaching. And somewhere along the line, I don't know if somebody told him or if he had the idea, but he thought, I could probably sell these guys something. They love everything I'm selling. Let me create a product. So he created a product called the Jump Manual that teaches people how to increase their vertical. And he went out to this audience that he already created, this platform he'd already built. And he basically said, hey guys, here's this ebook. And now he sells for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years in a row, makes over $1,000 a day consistently selling the Jump Manual. Okay, pretty exciting, don't you think? And what's cool about Jacob and his wife and his little family here is, and their story is just awesome, but they have not had a home for like 6 years, I think. When they first launched this business, they decided to travel, and so they packed up all their stuff, and they went to a country for 3 months, and then they're making tons of money out there just doing their thing, and then they decided, let's just go to another country, and they packed up their stuff, went to another country, and every 3 months or so they moved to a new country, and they just live out of their suitcases, and they literally do that because their little website business is making them $1,000 a day or more, and that's kind of what he does. So it's pretty exciting. Definitely someone who kind of figured out this whole lifestyle business we talked about, right? He found out his dream customer. For him, it's basketball and football players who want to learn how to jump higher. He found out where they're congregating, right? The basketball, the football forums, created some bait, the jump manual, and now he helps people to increase their vertical. That's where he's taking them all. And what's cool is you'll see him, like, he'll travel to Kenya and they'll be there, and he'll be out there making videos of him jumping with the Maasai warriors. And then he'll be in Australia jumping with people, and just he's taking this character and he's doing it all over the place, and people love it. Okay, so Jacob Hiller's a stud. Next one's a guy that I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. He's written 3 New York Times bestseller books now. A guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary's dad, his family owned a wine business. At the time, they're doing about $3 million a year. Gary came on. He became the attractive character of this company. Tons of passion, loved wine, loved talking about it. Launched a company or a website called Wine Library TV, where he talked about wine, reviewed wines, and every single day for like 6 years, he made videos about wine and just talked about it. Passionate, built a huge following of people, millions of people who watch these videos, and took his company from doing $3 million a year to $45 million a year by bringing out this attractive character and getting an audience to follow him. It's pretty exciting. And all he did is by sharing his passion for wine. Okay. Now a lot of people say, well, Russell, this makes sense for like guru type businesses, but what about other companies? Well, these are 2 different software companies that are huge companies, Kissmetrics and Crazy Egg. Both these companies do well, but both these companies are fueled by and the traffic is driven, not so much traffic driven, but the companies are fueled by the attractive character of this guy named Neil Patel. And Neil is seriously one of my favorite marketers online. Like, just a brilliant guy, but he blogs. Like, blogging is his platform. Remember I told you earlier, everyone's got to choose a platform. Gary Vaynerchuk's, Jacob Hiller's both video. For Neil, it's blogging. He's a blogger. So he blogs every single day, blog posts. And his blog posts are so good. He's such a good writer that people like me read them. We share them on Facebook, and they start growing. And boom, all this traffic comes in, and he's teaching people marketing stuff. And because of that, his passion, his excitement, his character he puts out there, people love him. They listen to him, and boom, they start buying his stuff. Okay, fast food companies. Okay, Subway was a fast food company like every other company. I don't think they were doing that well. And then, like, 10 or 15 years ago, they found this dude who was severely overweight, ate nothing but Subway for 2 years, lost a ton of weight, and Jared became the attractive character for Subway and literally transformed them from a fast food company to a weight loss plan. And you look at their numbers, look what happened to them after they transformed, and it was crazy. Okay, Jared became this attractive character. They put this character out there, and people who want to lose weight looked at Jared and said, man, if he can lose that much weight by going to Subway, I can do it too. And suddenly people relate to that attractive character, and they start following him. They start doing what he says, right? And that's how Subway became a weight loss plan. Okay, think about movies. What movies are popular? Okay, every movie usually has 1 or 2 A-level celebrity, an attractive character that people are going to be attracted to. A lot of times people have no idea what the movie's even called. Like, hey, you going to the new Tom Cruise movie? Yeah, what's it called? I don't know. Tom Cruise is in it. Hey, you going to a Julia Roberts movie? What's it called? I don't know. Julia's in it though. It's going to be awesome. Okay, take a movie like Ocean's 12. Why is a movie like this do good? Because every famous actor in the world's on there, and I don't care if you like Bernie Mac, if you like George Clooney, if you like whoever you like, you're going to show up because the attractive characters in the movie, and you want to see your hero, the person that you relate to, you want to see him on screen, right? The attractive character works in movies. Okay, insurance. All right, we've got Flo here on the left. We've got this gecko on the right-hand side. I was reading the thing the other day about Flo. She's like the highest paid spokesperson in the world, making millions and millions of dollars a year, and she's this attractive character. Some people hate her, some people love her, but man, she's getting people to buy insurance. Same with this little gecko dude, right? The Geico gecko is the same way. Okay, so attractive character works in insurance. Okay, it literally works in anything, you guys. Think about someone like Howard Stern. Okay, what does Howard Stern sell? Okay, he goes out there, he's controversial, he's annoying, he's whatever you want to say, but he gets this huge audience of people. He's an attractive character. He's got millions and millions and millions of listeners, and all of a sudden the eyeballs are there, and advertisers come to him. Okay, he can literally sell anything. I've got people who sell business books buying ads on his radio station. I got people selling all sorts of stuff because he's got an audience of people there, and because there's an audience, because there's an attractive character, because people are showing up and listening and paying attention, he can sell anything. Okay, think about Oprah. Think about Ellen now. Think about the talk shows. They build an audience through an attractive character, and then they can sell anything. Okay, so for you guys, that's where I think most businesses need to start. Is what's your attractive character? Who's the person communicating with the audience? Who's the person that people are going to be attracted to, they're going to listen to, and they're going to want to follow? Okay, look at my business. Okay, this is for years I've been sharing my attractive character with people, and I'm not that good looking. I apologize, but I find things in my life that people relate to, and I share them. When I first got started in this business, it was my wife and I just gotten married, and I was wrestling. I used to talk about wrestling all the time. I'd write emails about it. I'd blog about it. This is before blogs actually, but I would write stuff about it. And guess what? People who were athletes started buying my products. I would go to a seminar, I would speak, and I'd sell. At the end of the seminar, I'd look in the back of the room, and there'd be a whole bunch of athletes back there. And they'd be like, "Hey man, I loved your stuff. Just bought your package. By the way, I used to play football. Hey, by the way, I used to be a volleyball player." And the athletes were attracted to me because that's what I would share with people. A couple years later, my wife and I were trying to get pregnant, and we couldn't. And we went through this big process, and finally we were able to get pregnant with twins. And I didn't talk about that for about a year or so. And I remember one time I was at an event, and I started talking, and I was talking about why I was passionate about business. And just out of the blue, I started sharing this story about my wife and I and how we got pregnant, and how she had found the fertility doctor on Oprah and all this stuff, and how grateful I was that company was willing to go out there and market their business, and how it affected my life and changed our life. And I shared that, and I looked out in the audience, people were crying, and I went and sold my thing at the end. And in the back of the room, guess what? The athletes were still there, but now there were all these other people that showed up. There were wives and mothers and grandparents who started buying my stuff who never bought it before, because I started sharing that aspect of my attractive character. So we start putting things out there, you guys. Different people will be attracted to that, and they will buy because of that. Okay, I was at a seminar one time, and I was speaking, and I was selling this product on like how to make money building a list through email stuff, and I sold at the end of it, and I did great. We made a ton of money. And then right after me, a lady, some of you guys know her, Allie Brown, she spoke right after me. And Allie is awesome, and she got up and she gave almost the same presentation to me. I remember sitting in the audience feeling bad. I'm like, I can't believe that they had her speak right after me. I was talking about list building, she was talking about list building, and she did her whole thing, and she pitched, and I was like, this is going to be so embarrassing. Like, everybody bought my product. And she did her pitch, and guess what happened? All the women popped up out of the room, ran to the back, and they bought it. And hers was more expensive, and she made more money than me at that event because she attracted a different audience, an audience who's willing to spend more than my audience, apparently. And so the attractive character thing is big, you guys. All of you guys need to figure out what the attractive character is in your business and then share it. All right. So here is the worksheet that kind of goes with the attractive character. Excuse me. And so as you're starting to kind of design yours, here are all the pieces that are involved. Okay. First over here, we start with the elements of the attractive character, then the identities, and then the storylines. Now, I literally could do a full day-long event just on this concept, but obviously we don't have that much time. So I'm going to kind of go through this fast. But these are all the keys of the attractive character. Okay. So first key is every good attractive character has a backstory. Okay. What is your backstory? How did you get to where you are today, to right now? Okay. You got to share that with your audience, because the backstory is where, like, let's say you're in the weight loss market. If you used to be way overweight, now you're skinny. If you don't tell the backstory, if you were always skinny and you tell people that, they're like, well, you were always skinny. You don't get it. But if you say, hey, I was 300 pounds, I struggled, and then I came through this process, now I'm skinny, you're going to attract people, and they're going to say, man, this person's been where I've been. I can do that as well. Backstory is huge. Second is parables. Okay, it's key that when you are talking to your audience, you are sharing parables. Okay, I've shared a ton of parables with you guys already in the last hour and a half that we've been on. When I teach this in a full like 3 or 4 day event, I share a lot more parables, and they're just stories to help people understand a point. Right? I share my fertility story now to illustrate a point. I share my potato gun story when I'm trying to teach people about information marketing. I share different stories, different parables to get people to understand core concepts I'm teaching and make them very simple and easy to understand. Okay, so for all you guys, you got to figure out what parables do you have in your life that you can share with your audience that gets them closer to you, gets them more likely to buy from you. Okay. Number 3 is character flaws. This one's going to be very hard for most of you guys to share your character flaws, but one of the best things you can do is share character flaws with people. When they see that you have flaws, they're going to be more likely to listen to you, to respond to you, and to want to get closer to you. Okay, character flaws are huge. You think about like the great superheroes in life. Look at He-Man, Superman, Batman. Like, what's interesting about them is not how perfect they are. What's interesting is the character flaws. Okay, if Superman didn't have kryptonite, he wouldn't be interesting. Okay, if Batman didn't have his family and his loved ones that kept him from doing everything, that kept him morally grounded, he wouldn't be that interesting. The character flaws will make people interesting, so it's important to be sharing your character flaws. Okay, and then number 4 here is polarity. The biggest problem a lot of people have with attractive characters is that they're trying to be neutral. They don't want to offend anybody, and when you offend nobody, you also don't excite anybody. Okay, being neutral is the worst thing you could do online. You have to be polar. Okay, you have to have some polarity. You think about someone like Howard Stern, like he's built his business off of controversy. And there's a group of people who hate him, who just despise him, who don't like him at all. But there's also a group of people who love him. Okay? Look at my business. There are people, if you type my name into Google, there are people who do not like me. Okay? Because I have some polarity. If I was appealing to everybody all the time, it's boring. Nobody's going to listen to you. But as soon as you have some polarity and you have some you take stances on things and you push the envelope a little bit, that's when you'll see this polar opposite happen, where a percentage of people start not liking you, but a bigger percent will like you, and those people who like for you will start buying from you, and that's really the key. Polarity is huge. Okay, so those are some of the core elements of the attractive character. Next over here we have the identity. So each attractive character is going to have one identity. Okay. Let's see. So some of you guys, and again, one of these is going to fit for each of you. Some of you guys are going to be the leader. Okay, an example of like a leader attractive character is like Donald Trump, right? I am the leader. This is what we're doing. Follow me. Okay, number 2 here is the identity of the adventurer or the crusader. When I think about that, I think of like Richard Branson, the rebel billionaire is doing all sorts of cool stuff, and come check me out. Okay, number 3 is like the reporter or the evangelist. That's someone like Larry King. Okay, a lot of people online build their businesses by interviewing people. Okay, so that's one option, to become the reporter, the evangelist, like Larry King. And then number 4, and this is my favorite by far, this is the one that I typically kind of take in my identity, is the reluctant hero. Okay, when I think the reluctant hero, I always think about Frodo Baggins. I think about the Ring, and he got sent on this mission, and he didn't want to do it. That wasn't his goal, but he feels drawn to that because it's his mission. It's what he needs to do. Okay, if you look at the storylines I share with people, it's typically more of that thing. Like I didn't sign up one day to become a marketing guru and to teach things to people. But man, there were people getting screwed out there and people teaching bad information. And we built companies, we had success. And because of that, I came out and we started teaching stuff. And I reluctantly became the hero. So the reluctant hero is my personal favorite. But for each of you guys, your personality type is going to fit one of these. You got to figure out which one that is and then embrace it. And you can change throughout your business and throughout your life. Initially, when I got started, I was a reporter. I was interviewing people like crazy because I didn't know anything. And that's how I learned a lot of this stuff. And after I had kind of done that, then I shifted more into like the reluctant hero or more the leader, or just kind of shifted my identity. So you got to pick which one makes the most sense for you and then run with it. Okay, and then as the attractive character, you're going to be communicating with your audience through storylines. Okay, and we're going to talk a lot more about story here in a little bit, but these are 6 core storylines we use a lot. First is loss and redemption. Oh wait, let me see my notes here. So first is loss and redemption. A good example of that is like the movie Taken, right? His daughter was taken from him. He lost her and he had to go redeem it. So what is something in your life that was lost that you had to go and redeem? That's a story you should be sharing with your audience. Number 2, us versus them. I was thinking about the Mac versus PC commercials, right? What kind of us versus them can you create with your audience? Okay, it ties in this whole polarity thing up here a lot of times. So us versus them. Number 3, before and after. That's an easy one, right? Jared at Subway. Here I was before, here he is after. Okay, amazing discovery. Here's a cool new thing I figured out to lose weight, a cool new thing I figured out to boost my brain power, a cool new thing I figured out to make more money. Secret telling. Oh, I gotta tell you guys this cool secret I found out. That's a pretty easy one. And third-party testimonial. Here's what somebody else said about what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to be talking a lot about communication with your audience, but these are storylines that we weave into everything. Okay, our blog posts, our videos, our emails we go out, these storylines we're using over and over and over again. So if you guys recommend, take this image here. I had one of our guys that came to our event, Mark, call, and he said that this paper right here, he said he spent over $5,000 at seminars trying to learn this. He said this one piece of paper, he said I took it, I framed it, put it next to my computer. He said it makes me so much money every day. Every day I realize which one of these elements am I sharing with my audience today and through what storyline. And that's what he's doing, and that's what all of us should be doing when you're communicating with your audience. Okay, because again, the more you communicate, the better you communicate, the better you can take them to where you need them to be. All right, so we got attractive character stuff, you guys, right? And this is one of the, I can't even tell you how important this piece of it is. Like when I started, I look back at like when I first got started over a decade ago, and I was doing some of the stuff so like unconsciously, and I think that the reason why I was successful is because of that, because I was sharing these elements that I never thought about. And it wasn't until like somebody pointed out, till John Alden's like pointed out, and I realized that, and I was aware of it. And when I was aware of it, then I could kind of manipulate it. Okay, and not in a bad way, but I was able to say, look, now I understand this is bringing people in. Like, who do I want to attract? Okay, we talked about this earlier. Like, who is your dream client? Well, I'm going to put things out there. I'm going to tell stories that draw my dream client. And I'm going to post things out there that bring the right kind of people in. Okay, the emails I send out, the blog posts, I'm going to craft them in a way where I'm sharing my attractive character, and it's going to get my dream client to respond. Okay. And so if you look at anything I'm doing in my business, you'll notice how I'm weaving all these things together. And it's very, it's simple, but it's complex at the same time. It's as simple as, they come back up to this. It's as simple as this: is who's my dream client? Where are they at? What's the bait? And where am I taking them? This is how simple it is. But there's always little intricacies that are happening behind the scenes that most people don't even know, that hopefully now you're kind of seeing and like, wow, all I got to do is, I need to build a value ladder. I need multiple things. I need to understand where my traffic's coming from. I can find out what my competitors are doing. I can reverse engineer that. So, okay. So let's jump right here now. Okay, so now we talked about where traffic's at. We talked about reverse engineering where traffic's coming from. So now we know that these are the sites that other people are buying ads on. We buy our ads there. Now we have traffic coming into our world. Now we're going to communicate to that traffic, to that audience through the attractive character. So now you conceptually have the attractive character. Now we're going to put this into some framework. Okay, so if somebody comes in, they just joined my squeeze page. They changed from traffic that I purchased into traffic that I own. Okay, this traffic came through a squeeze page. Now they're on my list. Now how do I introduce them to my attractive character? How am I building that relationship? How am I getting them to want to ascend up to my higher levels? Can we do that through two processes? One's called a soap opera sequence, and one's called a daily Seinfeld email. Now I learned these two concepts. I learned the soap opera sequence from a guy named Andre Chaperone. I learned the daily Seinfeld emails from a guy named Ben Settle. And what's cool is I went to one of their mastermind groups, and they were both there teaching their email marketing philosophies, and they were sitting there arguing back and forth on who was right, if the soap opera was right or if the Seinfeld was right. And I sat back listening to these guys, and I kind of stopped and said, you guys, I don't think you understand how brilliant both of you are. And if you use these two pieces in conjunction, it can do some amazing things. I like doing the soap opera initially because when a new person comes into my list, they're brand new, they don't know who I am yet, they just opted in for some freebie or something like that. I'm taking them through this process now. I need to warm them up to my attractive character. I need to build this relationship as quick as possible. And I do that through my soap opera sequence. Now that I've got them through my soap opera sequence, my goal is to ascend them up my value ladder, and I do that through my daily Seinfeld emails. Okay, so let me break down how this kind of works. First is the soap opera sequence. Okay, now if you look at guys like Andre Chaperone, he literally writes soap opera sequences that are 6 months long. I don't know how he does it. He's intense, and he's got all these hooks and these angles, and he calls it soap opera sequences because literally what he does is just like a good soap opera, right? It opens all these loops in each episode that then close in tomorrow's episode, but during tomorrow's episode it opens up like 10 new loops, then close in the next days. And so they run these things for like, I don't know, soap operas have been running probably for 40 years with the same storyline because they never let anything close, right? And that's why people watch these things every day because of how good they are opening and closing loops, right? And so that's kind of how soap opera sequence works is I'm going to have these emails going out that are opening loops and getting people interested, and I'm trying to hook them in. But my main goal, I got two goals personally. My first goal is I want to build a relationship with the attractive character. Okay, and so for me, I do this through a 5-day email sequence. And again, you can make it longer, you can make it shorter, but for me, this is how I do it 5 days. And usually that soap opera sequence is it's building a relationship with the attractive character and pushing them back to my first offer, the first thing I'm trying to sell them. Okay, and then after that, it shifts to Seinfeld. But we'll go through this first. Okay, so soap opera. So day number 1, when somebody first joins my list, the first email they get kind of sets the stage. Okay, so this email is typically saying, hey, thanks so much. My name is Russell. Thank you for joining my list. Over the next 7 days, I'm going to share with you my best strategies, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be awesome. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to, and then I open my first loop. Tomorrow I'm going to show you blah, 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 blah. Right? So check my email tomorrow, and we'll dig deeper then. Okay, so boom, there's email number 1, setting the stage for the relationship, what's going to be happening, what they can expect, and things like that. Okay, now day number 2, my email is going to start in a point of high drama. Okay, if you look at good storytelling, I learned this initially from one of my friends and business partners, Dagan Smith. And Dagan spent like 2 years studying story and how you can use story to sell things. And one thing he told me that was just, I thought, the coolest thing in the world. He said, if you look at any good story, he said the story always starts at a point of high drama. He says the problem is that most of us, when we tell stories, we start at the beginning of a story. He said the problem at the beginning of the story, it's not exciting. In the middle is when it gets really, really exciting. So he said what you got to do is you have to start a story at the point of high drama. Okay, if you think about the good movies like I mean, any of the good ones, right? Cliffhanger's one that pops in my head. I remember I was like a 10-year-old kid when that came out, and I snuck over to a friend's house, and they were watching it. I remember it was rated R, so I wasn't supposed to watch it. And my friend put it in, and the very first, all I remember is like, there's Sylvester Stallone and all these people, and they got this huge canyon, and they're going across on this little zip wire, and they start going across, and halfway through, like, someone's line breaks, and they almost fall, and they catch them, and they're trying to save them, and all like this high drama. And I remember sitting there, and within like 3 minutes, looked down, and my hands were soaking wet. Like, I was just, like, I don't know any of the characters' names. I don't know anything. All I knew is that it sucked me, and I was at this point of high drama, and I was like, oh. And then it cut, and then it goes back to the backstory and tells how they kind of got there, right? And that's the best way to tell a story through email as well. Day number 2, I start at the point of high drama. Okay, so my story, in my story, I want to tell these guys to build the relationship with the attractive character. What's the point of high drama? And I share that first, and then I go to the backstory. In the backstory, I kind of tell the backstory, which goes until a point where I hit this wall, which is the frustration that I had, which is usually the frustration that they have. Okay, if I know that they're trying to learn how to lose weight, I'm going to talk about high drama. So high drama would be like the spot where I got embarrassed about how much overweight I was. I'll tell the backstory about how I got there until I hit this wall where I couldn't progress. It's probably the same wall you guys are hitting right now, right? But I've had this epiphany that changed everything. And guess what? I'm going to tell you that epiphany tomorrow. Boom. Open the loop. Close. All right, just open the loop, right? It's like a soap opera. So day 3 now, all of a sudden this person's anxiously waiting my email because they had the exact same story that I had, very similar, and they want to know what my epiphany was because that epiphany changed everything, that they want to know what that is as well. So day number 3 now, I say, hey guys, I told you yesterday I was going to share with you my epiphany. This is what it was. I found out that when blah, 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 this is what happened. It changed my life. It was awesome. And I pushed people back. This is the concept we'll talk about when we get to the scripts a little bit more, you guys, towards the end of this webinar. But whenever I'm trying to sell anything, I'm trying to focus on one thing. Like, what's the one thing? What's the one most important thing I'm trying to sell here? So for these guys, it could be weight loss. It could be, my weight loss secret or my tip or whatever the one thing is, right? The one thing that my sales video is about, the one thing my webinar is about. Anyway, I'm going to share this epiphany and how that relates back to the one thing. Like, the one thing that I did was this, okay? Boom. And so that's usually email number 3. Email number 4 now is I start sharing with people the hidden benefits because people know, like, let's say it's, again, a weight loss product. They know, like, if I lose weight, I'm going to be skinny and I'll be awesome. But I want to talk about the hidden benefits. Like, so data 4 is like, hey, I don't know if you guys realize this, and I didn't realize it when I first started doing this process, but when I started losing weight, all these other cool things started happening. I had more energy. People at work treated me different. I had different girls approaching me, and I started sharing all the hidden benefits with people because these are the things when they hear these, they're like, oh man, I want that too. I want that too. Every other product or service or thing they've tried usually is very surface level. They share with you, like, here's the benefits of getting this product. You're going to lose weight. You're going to blah, blah, blah. And if you can dig deeper on day 4 and kind of share the hidden benefits, it takes them to a different level. It helps them start thinking why yours is different and why yours is better than any other solution out there. And the day number 5 is usually where we have some urgency. Like, hey guys, this is the deal, this offer, this special thing, whatever it's closing. I showed you how it's changed my life. Go do it right now. Here's your call to action, and boom. So for me, that's kind of the sequence I typically take somebody through during my soap opera. As soon as they come into my squeeze page, this first little initial sequence is that. Okay. Now, again, this is not set in stone. You can tweak things or move things or shift them to fit your story however you want. The biggest thing is you got to be entertaining. You got to suck them from email to email to email to email. Each one, for me, I always, in each of these emails, I always push back to the core offer. So I talk about high drama backstory and wall. And like tomorrow I'm going to talk about the epiphany, but while you're waiting, go check out this video right here. And I'll push them back to the sales video. Okay, so I personally push at the end of each email, push them back to the sales video. Because for me, in most of my sales processes, the traffic came, they went through a squeeze page, then they saw my sales video, they checked their email, and boom, they got email number 1, 2, 3. So they've already kind of seen this. So I'm using these to push them back to my video at the same time as I'm building that relationship with the attractive character. Okay. Now, if you guys execute this part correctly, the soap opera, by the time this thing is done, they're going to love you, they're going to trust you, they're going to want to buy everything else you've got. Okay, that's the power of doing the soap opera the right way. So the biggest thing is just be fun, you guys. All the attractive character stuff we talked about, share those things, bring them out, and that's how you're going to get people to really bond with you. Okay? All right. Now, after I finish my initial soap opera sequence, then I want to, like, what do you email people now? People always ask me, like, what do you do after that? So for me, I learned this again from Ben Settle, and I start sending out daily Seinfeld emails. And all the daily, like, the reason why we call them Seinfeld emails, do you guys remember the episode of Seinfeld where they were starting the TV show called Jerry, and the producers at NBC are like, wait a minute, what's the show going to be about? They're like, it's a show about nothing. They're like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, the show's about nothing. And the whole joke is just like, it's a show about nothing, which is funny because Seinfeld was a show about nothing. Okay, daily Seinfeld emails are the exact same thing. They're emails about nothing. Okay, you're just sharing some concept, some random thing with somebody, and somehow tying it back to your product or your service or whatever it is that you're trying to send out to somebody. Okay, and so there's different types of Seinfeld. Well, actually, I just want me to share with you. I don't know if I can find one real quick and share with you, so you can get an example. Okay, this is this is one that I sent out. So again, this email had nothing to do with anything. So especially like for internet marketers, like you're probably like, what in the world is Russell talking about? Okay, so this is the email I sent out, and this email, by the way, made me over $100,000. So just to kind of put in perspective of how well this stuff works. And insert disclaimer: this email was a freak accident. If you send this email out, you will not make $1 million or $100,000, but did for me. So it's just kind of crazy. So this was the email subject line: Jiu-jitsu is like wrestling for old fat guys and other marketing stuff. Okay, do you guys remember seeing this email? So you guys. Okay, is that random? Like, what's Russell talking about? Jiu-jitsu is like wrestling for old fat guys and other marketing stuff. So that was the subject line. Okay, here's the body. So tomorrow I'm fighting in a jiu-jitsu tournament. For those of you on my list who don't know what jiu-jitsu is, it's kind of like wrestling for old fat guys, which is great for me because while I still look like I'm 13, I'm actually getting a lot older now. I'm 34 years old and a lot fatter. I'm 30 pounds heavier now than when I was wrestling. Anyway, I have weigh-ins in a few hours, and as of right now, I'm still 7 pounds overweight. Good thing I'm a wrestler and I have some awesome weight cutting skills. In fact, I just found my old weight cutting clothes this morning. Check them out here. I showed a picture of them. Then yes, they're a little bit tight, but my 3-year-old told me that I look like a ninja, so it can't be that bad, right? Anyway, in about an hour, I'm going to go to the wrestling room, and within 30 to 40 minutes, I'll lose all 7 pounds. Then tomorrow, I get to step out on the mat with a bunch of younger, faster guys whose only goal in life is to choke me out or to break my arm, whichever comes first. I'm so excited. So why do I tell you this? Because, okay, this is the key, you guys. Notice I told a random story about nothing, and the key here is you have to transition to something you're selling. Okay, for me at the time, I was selling people into my Inner Circle program. So I'm now, how do I transition this random wrestling story into the product I'm going to sell? Okay, and you notice like how many elements of my attractive character I've sprinkled in through that story right now, you guys. I've told backstory. I've told parable. I've told what's the one about? I just blanked out about character flaws. I shared character flaws there. Like there's so many things I shared in that short period of time that bond me to people, right? Okay, so here comes the transition. So why do I tell you this? Because this week we did over 6 figures in sales. Not this month, this week. And we did it without any product launches, without any affiliates. And while that's a pretty normal week for us, this week was special because we also did it without me actually being in the office. Yep, you guessed it. I spent most of the week in the wrestling room getting ready for the tournament this weekend. Yet we still did 6 figures in sales while I was gone. Would you like to learn how I did it? Would you like to see how to build a business that can run just as good when you're gone as when you're here? Are you ready to take your company to the next level? If so, I've got good news for you. As long as I don't end up in the hospital after my match this weekend, then I'm going to be coming into the office next week. That gives me time to personally work with two more people to help build out their sales funnel. The same type of funnel that we use to pull in six-figure weeks like clockwork. If you're ready to take your game to the next level and create a business that can truly give you time freedom so you can do what you love, let's get on the phone and figure out how we can work together. Sounds good? If so, then go apply here. innercircle.dotcomsecrets.com. Oh, and if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, this is not it. If you're looking for a work hard and build an awesome company scheme, then I'm your man. Okay, I'm off to cut weight. Wish me good luck this weekend. Thanks, Russell Brunson. P.S. I know that it's not healthy to cut 7 pounds in under an hour, so no emailing me telling me it's not healthy. I'm pretty sure that stepping onto a mat with somebody 30 pounds heavier is a lot less healthy than me losing 70 pounds of water in an hour. Haha. Okay, so there was a perfect example of a daily Seinfeld email. From that one email, we got about 40 or 50 people who applied for our inner circle, and from that we closed over $100,000 in sales. Okay, an email about nothing, just something that happened that day, random. So for you guys, think about what happened in your day today. Okay, think about the show Seinfeld, right? They're in the coffee shop for a show, boom, that became an episode. They were waiting in line at a Chinese restaurant, boom, that became an episode. Okay, for you, what weird thing happened today that could become an episode in your daily emails? Okay, you got to think about something random, cool, exciting, entertaining, whatever that happened, and how you relate that back to your product or service that you're selling. Okay, all right, so here's, for me, how I structure mine. So there's episode style emails, there's epiphany style emails, and then there's educational style emails. Okay, so episode style is like what happened today. Okay, that's kind of what this one was. What happened today? I'm cutting weight. What happened today? I woke up this morning and I was sick. What happened today? I was driving to the office today and boom, I saw this weird thing. In fact, if I was in the juicing market, yesterday I was driving to the office and I saw this guy with a big wood chipper jamming a tree into it, and I took a snapshot of it in my car and I posted on Facebook about the new juicer that I saw on the way to on the office today, and everyone was laughing and stuff. But if I was in the juicing market, like that would have been an email. Like, can you imagine a juicer this big? You could jam a whole tree in and drink oak juice. Anyway, that would have been an email, right? What happened today? Next one is story-based edutaining. Okay, one thing you guys will notice as you get into this business, I would say it's 80% entertainment, 20% content. Okay? And I don't care what business you're in. People want to be entertained. That's why they're buying from it. That's why they're listening to it. That's why they're opening their emails. They're bored out of their minds. Okay? Your audience is bored. If you will tell them stories and be edutaining, people will listen. They will open. They will buy. They will consume whatever it is you give them. Okay? Controversial emails work awesome as well. Okay, epiphany styles. Any kind of ideas you have an idea, or inspirational emails, all that crap that people post on Facebook, inspirational stuff, copy and paste it, send it out to your list, right? Enlightening, thought-provoking, challenging existing beliefs or dogma, okay? Any kind of epiphanies like this, people love them. They love to hear your epiphanies, and they when you share with people, and then it helps them have epiphanies as well, okay? Educational now, here's checklists, here's how-to lists, here's Q&As, here's FAQs. Okay, so these are the daily Seinfeld emails. Now, these emails also work for blog posts, they work for Facebook posts, they work for YouTube videos, they work for whatever media you want to publish through. Remember I told you guys earlier, you have to become good at email and one of those other ones. And so for email, that's how you do the email. For the other ones, you can then take, like if you want to do blogging, you send the email out and then post the email on your blog. Boom, you took care of your two channels of media. Send the email out, make a video of you telling the story in email, post it on YouTube, okay? That's kind of the process that we go through. So we're always taking these daily things, and after we're done with them, we publish them and push them out to the world, okay? All right, so that's kind of how our email sequences work, you guys. Again, traffic comes into the squeeze page, boom, we have the soap opera sequence to introduce them to the attractive character, and then the Seinfeld email to send them up or to sell them our continuity or whatever other products and services we have. We're sending these daily Seinfeld emails to engage them in whatever level of the value ladder we're trying to take them to. So this changes. Like people say, well, Russ, what do you promote to your Seinfeld emails? Depends on what I'm selling right now. What am I excited about? What's the new thing? What's the exciting thing? What's the hot offer of the day? And that's what we're going to be selling them. Okay. All right. Now, here's a couple ninja tricks. And then I could literally spend a week just teaching this part of it. I'm not going to. I'm going to give you guys some tricks, though, because this is where some of the more advanced stuff, like after you start communicating with the audience, like what are the other ways to do cool stuff? And so this is a concept I call Inception. And I call it Inception because if you guys all seen the movie Inception, I hope. If not, that's your homework assignment. Go rent the movie and watch it. But it's about these guys who go into dreams and they try to place ideas into people's minds. And when that person has the idea, they think it's their idea, and then they're more likely to act upon it, right? And so I started looking at our sales processes, and most people, when they sell stuff, they're so blunt and just like, hey, buy my stuff. And I started looking at like, if I can change the way we sell, where instead of me telling people they should buy my stuff, if I can create a process and an environment and a language pattern that gets them to have this idea of, man, I should buy Russell's stuff. If I can cause that inception in somebody's mind, it's 1,000 times more powerful. Okay. People, they hate to be sold to, but they love to buy stuff. Okay. You have to understand that. So I don't want to sell them stuff, but I want to cause inception in their mind so that they are going to want to buy what I have to sell. Does that make sense, you guys? I know it's kind of woo-woo at this point, but I'll dig deeper to some of the concepts because there's a lot of stuff you can do, and I wish we could spend a week on this right now, but this will give you guys some gold nuggets at least. So first thing to understand, you guys, is the attention span of a human being in the 1980s was 20 minutes. Okay? It's 20 minutes. You think about like what interruptions you had. Okay, once a day the mailman showed up. Maybe once or twice a week someone would come knock on your door. The phone would ring maybe 2 or 3 times a week, maybe once a day, maybe twice a day if you were popular. And that was the distractions that people had, right? What happens today? Today's a little bit different, right? Every 3 seconds, we're looking at our cell phones, our Facebook, our text messages, our Twitter, our emails. Like, people are jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And literally in 20-minute period of time, you've probably checked 80 different things. Okay, they did a study recently, and the average person right now, today in our world, guess how long their attention span is? Any guesses in the comments? I would assume maybe 2 or 3 minutes. That's kind of what I was thinking when I was reading this article about this. The average attention span of a human being today in today's world is exactly 9 seconds. Okay? Now, when you understand that, this is one of the keys to this whole inception stuff I'm talking about. Most people, when you start learning sales and marketing, at least when I did, I started studying from some of the greats, right? The people who have been teaching marketing for 100 years. And there are some amazing people that are taught marketing, some amazing books. And you'll hear all the famous marketers. They're like, hey, you should go read Claude Hopkins and Gene Schwartz and all these people's names. And you should. Their stuff is awesome. But you have to understand that they were selling in a time when the average attention span was 20 minutes. Today, we're selling to a world where the average attention span is 9 seconds. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand the changes that have happened in our world today, you're going to get run over from people like me who understand that. Okay? And so because of that, we do everything different now. We have to create our offers differently. We communicate our messages differently. All this edutainment stuff I'm talking about, like attractive character, excitement, storytelling, fun, that stuff is necessary today because if you are bored, you're gone. Okay? People today don't watch the presidential debates, the most important thing in the world. Why? Because it's boring. They want to go watch something on YouTube that's, going to capture their attention and keep it for 5 seconds. Okay? That's the world we're in right now. And if you're not capturing someone's attention in that tiny period of time you've lost them. Okay? And so it's key. Now, there's a lot of different elements to this whole inception stuff, but one of the key parts of it, this is from a book from Blair Warren. I've never met this guy, but I really want to. This is a Kindle book you can get for like $3. It's called the 1-Sentence Persuasion Course, and it's 27 words to make the world do your bidding. And when I read this, I was just like, that dude gets it. He understands it perfectly. So this is the 1-Sentence Persuasion Course. It says, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them to throw rocks at their enemies. Okay, there's a lot of power in that. Okay, look at the emails that you send out or that I send out. Look at the sales videos, the sales letters, the webinars, all those type of things, and see if you're hitting on these things. Okay, people do anything for those who encourage their dreams. Are you encouraging your audience's dreams? Number 2 is justify their failures. Are you justifying their failures? Okay, yeah, you need to be. It's not your fault. It's the big bad gurus. It's the food industry. It's whatever's keeping them back. Okay, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them to throw rocks at their enemies. So every time I'm writing copy or creating a webinar or whatever, I always look at this and like, how can I weave these things into my communication? This is one of the big core parts about inception. Okay. All right, here's the graph that goes with inception secrets. So the top there is kind of the the one sentence persuasion guide, right? Encourage their dreams, justify their failures, lie their fears, confirm their suspicions, and throw rocks at their enemies. Now, when I'm creating any kind of sales message, the first thing I'm looking at is every single person has like this primary question, okay, when it comes to your business. Now, I first learned this from Tony Robbins, and he shared a concept in his Date with Destiny program that he called the primary question. He said that every single human has a primary question that's always going on in their head over and over and over again, and it drives every single choice you make in life. Some people's primary question is, how can I do this better? Okay, and you know those people because every single situation they're in their life trying to figure out how to do it better. How can I run faster? How can I make this business grow? How can I do this? How can I do this? And they have this primary question that's driving every single one of their choices. Okay, other people's primary question is, why do I do everything wrong? Okay, that person drives their life and makes decisions a lot different, right? Oh, why do I do everything wrong? Why do I do everything wrong? Why am I so dumb? Why can't I, whatever that thing. So everyone's got this primary question. Now, we can go off on a whole tangent on that. I'm not going to, but I want you to understand that primary question is key, and it would be good for you to know your core audience, what their primary question is. But more specifically, when it relates to your product, I believe this also happens at like a product or service level, that people have this primary question. And so 5 or 6 years ago, when we used to have a big, huge call center with 60 salespeople, and we were selling beginner internet marketers how to start a business online. And I remember one day I went down there, I was listening to all these phone calls, and like I said, 60 full-time sales guys. And I would say every probably 10 or 15 minutes, I would hear this question come up where people would say, hey, if Russell's stuff is so good, why don't you just give it to me for free and I'll pay him back from the money I make? I used to think, oh, that's dumb. Why would they say that? But they kept coming up and kept coming up and kept coming up over and over and over again. And one day I had this epiphany. I said, you know what? That's their primary question. That's my audience's primary question. So how do I address that? How do I help them understand that? And so I wrote a sales letter about that time for a product called DotComSecrets X. And in that video, I addressed that primary question. I said, look, all the other gurus out there keep talking about how good their products are, and if they really are that good, then why don't they just give you that product for free? And then if you make money, then they'll take your money. Okay, and I brought that question up, and I said, it makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you guys? And the people that were listening were like, yes, of course. Like, that's what I've been thinking. That's the primary question that's been happening in my head. I said, look, I'm going to be different than other gurus, and I'm going to give it to you for free. You can come in here, try it out for 30 days for free. And if it works for you, you can pay me. If not, then if I can't make you money, I don't deserve your money. And we flipped it around like that, and I created my offer to match their primary question. And we literally went from 0 to 8,000 members in that membership site in a month, okay, because I hit the right primary question. Okay, so think about that with your audience. Like, what's the question they have? And if I can communicate that very, very quickly in the exact same words that they're saying it in, I can get them to move and do a lot of cool stuff. Okay, now the primary question leads to some kind of epiphany, right? The epiphany that I had, like I had this epiphany that boom, you needed this, you needed this change. And so I'm usually driving my primary question to some kind of epiphany. And I'll show this a lot deeper in the sales scripts, you guys, here in a minute. But just understand that the primary question is leading to some kind of epiphany, which then leads to a magic bullet. And that magic bullet is your offer, right? This is that thing you have that's going to solve all their problems. Okay, back in the day, we used to sell a lot more. It was like, here's my thing, and here's a million bullet points about why this thing is the greatest thing in the world. Okay, and about 6 months ago, I was working on a project, and we had a sales video that just wasn't converting, and we were selling a product. It had 6 hours worth of event stuff, right? It was 2-3 day events, and it was all the videos, and it's like literally one of my favorite products I've ever created. And I was selling it, and in there I was sharing all, like, you get this and you get this, and I was trying to share all the stuff that they got because I wanted them to know every single thing that was possible in this program. And we launched it twice, and both times it did not convert, and I was just like so frustrated. I'm like, these people don't understand what's in here. This is like gold. And one night I had this aha. I said, what if I just find the best thing that I sell and just only focus on that one thing? Like, we cut out everything else and just focus on one thing, the one thing. And so I went through my entire 6 hours, and I found one thing that was the most interesting, and I rewrote the entire sales message just to focus on that one thing, the one magic bullet. And literally in the 6-day event, I probably talked about that one thing for 30 minutes, but that's all I talked about during my sales message is that one thing, the one thing, the one thing. I kept going on it. At the end, I'm like, oh yeah, and you get a bunch of other stuff as well, but this one thing is worth the price of admission and more. And by changing it to be this one thing, this one focus, one singular focus, conversions went through the roof. And so for most of you guys, like how can you take your offer and really boil it down to like, well, the one thing, what's the one thing that they really need? If you can identify that and make it a tangible, they can see it and be like, man, I need that thing, that one thing. It'll do magic. Okay. All right. Now a couple other things, and again, I wish I had days to go into this, and I don't. I'm going to go into really quickly. One of them is copy speed, and typically, people always write. I wish I would have an example. I don't have an example here to show you guys right now, but typically people will write sales letters, and when they do, I mean, you've seen a sales letter. They're usually long, blocky, big paragraphs and things like that. And a while ago, we were doing some tests, and I was promoting some offers and testing them out, and there was this one offer that just converted better than anything I'd ever seen before or since. Like, it just did crazy stuff, and we promoted it. And I went back and looked at it later, and I realized it was written differently. It was written in this weird, like, high-paced, fast process. In fact, I wonder if I might have an example of it here. Some of my notes I was looking through today. Yeah, here it is. So I was looking at this offer, and I noticed that the way it was written was everything was very short sentences with ... dots afterwards, and there was never a sentence that was more than like one line. And I thought that's really interesting. And so I met the guy who wrote this way, and I tested some ads that he had written, and every single one was just the best converting ads I'd ever done. I thought this is interesting, so I wanted to kind of learn that style and to figure it out. So and that's why I call this copy speed, because the way I write, it used to take me, I don't know, almost 2 weeks to write a sales letter. When I learned this process, I was able to write an entire sales letter in about 2 hours. It would normally take me 2 weeks, and they convert 10 times better. Okay, so this is an example of the DotComSecrets X intro. You can see how I written it. See, notice how short the sentences are. They're all like incomplete sentences that pull you from thing to thing to thing, and it's very fast to read, and it sucks you in. So I'm going to read it to you. It says, I've got a quick question for you. Have you ever wanted to work from home or own your own business? Come on, you know you want that lifestyle, the one that everyone talks about, where you can work from home in your underwear or on a beach with your laptop. So why hasn't it happened for you yet? Come on, admit it. This isn't the first time you've been looking for a proven way to make money, is it? When is it your turn? My guess is this. You saw someone online promising you riches untold, but there's a catch. Doesn't it seem like there's always a catch? You have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to get started, right? Before you make any money. Don't they know that's why you're here, because you need money? Doesn't it seem like that if all those gurus' courses and software work so good and they really believe in them, why don't they just give you their money-making system, and then after you've made money, then you'd get paid? Okay, you guys see that? So copy speed, very fast speed. And you see how I transitioned all the way to boom. What was this down here? Primary question. Do you guys catch that? There's a primary question that all of them have. Okay, so when you're writing copy, and again, these are more advanced tactics, but short lines, ... dots, and you're pulling somebody through a sales letter. Check this out. This is for our Overcome Pornography. We have a product that helps people with pornography addiction. Check out how the beginning of this one works. Again, same style, same copy speed. It happened again, didn't it? To you or to someone you love. I know your story. Every situation is different, but the results are usually the same. Let me know if this sounds familiar. It was around 11:30 at night, and your spouse had just fallen asleep. You're tired, but something keeps nagging at you. You decide to get up just to check your email, or maybe look on eBay or Craigslist for something you know you really don't want or need. Then a few minutes later, again, you have no idea. Oh, and then a few minutes later it happens. You have no idea how you got there, but you're there. You knew it would happen even though you won't admit it. You have a second of hesitation, but you know it's already too late. 1 hour turns into 2, and then 2 into 3. You know you're going to be tired tomorrow for work, but at this point you don't really care. You know the shame and the guilt you're going to feel and the look of pain in your eyes when you look at your loved ones, but it's already too late. For some of you, this is a story that happens often. For some of you, this just happened, and that's why you're here, right? Okay, see how that video works? Sucks them in. Very short, fast copy. Notice there was only one sentence in here that was 2 lines. Everything else was like these little micro sentences. Okay, this is the way that we talk, you guys. Look at how you text your friends. Look at the way you write emails to your friends. That's how communication is going. Okay, and we talked about, you guys, you have literally 9 seconds to communicate with somebody. If you're writing out paragraphs of copy, you lost them. You need to communicate the exact same way you communicate with people right now. Communicate the way you do text. I mean, look at this. It looks like a bunch of text messages, right? That's how you got to communicate in your audience today. That's the copy speed. Okay, so copy speed is one thing. Trial closes is another. Trial closes are basically where I ask questions to get somebody to say yes. Okay, notice how many questions I asked in here. It happened again, didn't it? Okay, you're going to say yes. Let's see. That's why you're here, right? Trial close. A trial close is a question to get somebody to say yes. Okay. You notice I do these all the time. Okay. I got a question. Have you ever wanted to work from home? You said yes. Do you want to own your own business? Yes. Why hasn't it happened for you yet? When is it your turn? Anyway, I drop trial closes in all throughout. Here's the examples of trial closes we put in our webinars. Are you guys excited for this? Are you ready for the same change that's about to happen to you? I'm getting them to say yes, yes. If you guys had a chance to read the DotComSecrets Labs book, I talked about how we had an automated webinar that was averaging like $9.60 for every single person who registered. And I learned this concept about trial closes. And so I went back and I like literally this is in my webinar, minute 05, I went back and I recorded these 3 trial closes and had my brother, who does my video, splice them in. Then at minute 21, I dropped these 3 trial closes, and then I dropped these ones, and I literally spliced those things into my presentation, just asking questions to get somebody to say yes in their head. And just by adding in those trial closes, we raised our earnings per attendee from $9.60 to like $14.60, something crazy like that. The exact numbers are in the DotComSecrets Labs book, along with all the trial closes in there, but it was crazy. Trial closes work awesome. And then desire amplifiers. There's a ton of desire amplifiers, you guys, things that just get people to desire your product more. And so when you're writing your copy and you're creating your things, these are just things to think about. Okay, again, Inception Secrets, there's there's dozens of different things that I could talk about that we don't have time today, but these are the core most important ones. Increasing the copy speed, dropping trial closes, focusing on a primary question, focusing on your magic bullet, focusing on one thing. What's the one core thing that you need to get somebody to understand to buy your product? Okay, I was talking to Perry Belcher, who's one of the best online salespeople of all time, and he was telling me that every time they have a video sales letter or something that is trying to get somebody to believe 2 concepts or 3 concepts, it fails. And so if they're trying to get them to believe one thing, just one core message, it always is a winner. So those are just some things to understand. Again, some more advanced tactics. There's a lot of hypnosis stuff. There's tons of cool things we could cover, but I just don't have time in the scope of this webinar. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit excited about just some of the cool marketing ninja voodoo stuff you can add into your sales messages. All right, you guys, let's jump into section number 3. So the first section we talked about, if you remember, we talked about designing your dream business. The second one is getting your dream clients and then how to communicate to them through your attractive character. And now we're going to be focusing on funnelology, which is the study of funnels, like these sales and marketing funnels. You probably heard people drop those terms before, but what are they? How do they work? And so I literally spent the last year or so just going through all the sales funnels we've ever done and really dissecting them and breaking them apart and seeing what worked and what didn't work and why they worked and how they all work. And from there, I really learned a lot of cool stuff, and I wanted to share with you because I think there are things that are going to be a ton of value for you. So that's what the funnelology section is. The first thing we'll talk about are the 7 phases of a funnel. Okay, and I'm guessing that 4 or 5 of these phases you probably never even thought about, but it all ties back to what we talked about earlier with the value ladder. Like all these pieces tie in together. Okay, so the 7 phases of a funnel. This is where it kind of starts. All right, the left-hand side is phase number 1 is your traffic temperature. Okay, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more here in a minute, but traffic temperature. What I mean by that is actually I'm gonna show this other image because this will help me illustrate it better. We'll come back and cover this in a lot more detail in a minute, but this will help. So when you have any person who's going to come and potentially buy your product, they go through this little spectrum of awareness. Okay, in the bottom there's unaware, right? They have no idea they've got an issue. Okay, then they move up to a problem where they know they've got a problem, and then solution aware means they're a little more advanced. They know there's a problem. They're aware of different solutions. They're trying to pick which solution, right? Product aware means they're aware there's a problem. They know a bunch of solutions, and they know which product they want. Okay, and then most aware is like someone who could be teaching this stuff. This is probably where most of you guys are in your market, right? And so there's this spectrum, and people are coming at all sorts of different angles. Now, what's interesting in my business, most of the people that I know, especially in the internet marketing world, they're selling to people that are product aware. And so they're really good at converting. You probably heard this before, converting warm or hot traffic, right? It's very easy for them to convert, but they can't convert cold traffic. They can't figure out how to do it. And the reason why is because the way I speak to somebody who's warm, who's solution aware, who's just trying to pick a different solution is way different than the way I speak to somebody who's unaware or problem aware. Okay, so problem aware is, for example, let's say in the make money market. Okay, unaware means I have no idea that there's even a possibility to make money. I'm here, I'm happy, and life's hunky dory. That person's really hard to sell. Okay, but then somebody gets to the point where like, I got no money, so they've got a problem, and they're very aware of that problem. Okay, they're problem aware. So if I come to this person who's problem aware, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to show you how to set up an email autoresponder. What's that problem aware person going to say? They're going to say, I'm trying to make money. What does that have to do with anything? What's an email autoresponder, right? They're aware of the problem they have. They have no idea about any of the other stuff. Okay. Now, in the move up this thing, now this is somebody who is aware of the solution. They know they need to make money. They know they got to build a list. They just got to pick which autoresponder they want to have. So now they're solution aware. They're warm traffic. So I can communicate this person different. I can use different language, different verbs, different things because they're solution aware. Okay. And then again, they move up to product aware, which means they know they've got the product. They're trying to figure out how to use it. And then, yeah. So when I talk about cold traffic, warm traffic, or hot traffic, traffic temperatures is what kind of people am I targeting with the traffic I'm driving? Okay, am I targeting people that are just problem aware, like someone they know they need to know, or they know they're trying to make money, or they know they're trying to lose weight, or they know that whatever that issue is. If that's the case, I'm going to communicate to that person differently than someone who's solution aware or product aware. Okay, so cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic. Typically, cold traffic is like I'm buying ads on sites that don't know me. Warm traffic is typically like I have a partner or a friend who already has a list and they're promoting me. And hot is like your own traffic, your own audience. Okay. All right. So let me come back to this. Okay. So phase one is traffic temperature. Understanding this ad that I'm placing out here, where's it at? Is it to my own list? If it's my own list, I'm going to communicate differently versus my joint venture partner's warm list or cold Facebook ads or cold Google PPC ads, right? Okay, so that's the first step, is understanding my traffic. Now, my second phase is what I call the pre-frame bridge. Okay, this is the frame that somebody enters your website in. Okay, I learned this concept initially from a guy named Mark Joyner, and he's one of my very first mentors, and still one of the smartest marketing guys I've ever met. But he when I first was studying with him, he told me something that had a big impact on me. He said, Russell, not all clicks are created equal. I said, okay, what does that mean? He said, well, think about it. I said, if you go to a website and you see this ad that says, hey, Russell Brunson is a scam artist. He stole my money. He took everything I had and left me with nothing. He's a horrible person. He's about to launch this new product. Click here to check it out. And you came to my website through that pre-frame bridge. What's going to happen when you come right here? Nothing good. You're not going to convert very well at all, right? But if you come through a pre-frame bridge that says, hey, Russell Brunson, his coaching program is the best thing in the world. It changed my life. I was able to lose weight and get more girls and make more money, and everything became better because of him. Everything is awesome. Russell's the best. Click here to check out his new program. And they come through that frame. How does that affect what's going to happen here? Okay, it's like night and day. So understanding this pre-frame, this is the process they go through before they hit your website. You understand that you can manipulate that and make the conversion on everything else in this process become better. Okay, so a hot list, they already love me, they know me, they like me, they're on my list. So my pre-frame is typically very, very short. Usually I'm sending an email out or a blog post saying, hey, I got this new thing, check it out. Okay, because it's warm temperature, this little bridge can be very, very short to go over here. Warm traffic is usually a joint venture partner. So let's say, for example, one of my joint venture partners is like Tony Robbins. So Tony would go and write an email to his list and say, hey, and so this is the pre-frame bridge. Tony's saying, hey, Russell's awesome. This is great, blah, 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 blah. Check this thing out. The bridge is a little bit longer than my own list, but not much. And then boom, they come over here. And now that he set that pre-frame, now they're going to buy my stuff. Okay, cold traffic, now I'm buying an ad on Facebook. They have no idea who I am. They're looking at something else and my face pops up. I'm trying to get them to click on me, right? Now from here, if I drive them straight to my squeeze page, typically it's not going to convert. So I got to warm that person up. I got to send them to maybe an article or a blog post or something where I'm going to provide some value to them so that it warms them up, makes them want to enter this relationship with me. So I put them through that kind of a pre-frame, and then I push them to my site, and now I can convert that kind of a person. Okay, people always come to me, Russell, I can't convert cold traffic. Okay, it's because you're not warming them up. You got to take them through this pre-frame bridge to get them to the point where they know you, they like you, they trust you enough. Okay, they're really good at driving warm traffic and hot traffic, and then it's so easy because you got these existing audiences that you're just converting. But cold traffic's a different game. Okay, you're driving a different pre-frame, and then the way you communicate to the audience is different. For example, in the how to make money market, cold traffic, my headline over here has got to be something about how to make money, whereas hot traffic could be like, hey, how to make money in webinars, right? Because they already know they want to make money. They're looking for the solution. Okay, they're solution aware, they're product aware, things like that. Okay, phase number 1, traffic temperature. Phase number 2 is your pre-frame bridge. Phase number 3 now, all this traffic I'm sending here, I got to find out who of all my traffic is actually willing to give me their email address. I'm qualifying my subscribers. Okay, and we do that through a squeeze page. We talked about a lot so far today. So you do through a squeeze page, they put their email in, they submit, boom, now I've gotten their email address. Now I know who my subscribers are, and because of that, I'm going to spend time and energy to market to them. I'll send them emails, I'll do a bunch of other stuff. But if they're not willing to put their email address in, I'm not going to waste my time with them. Okay? Now, as soon as I've qualified my subscribers, immediately afterwards, I want to find out who my buyers are. Okay, one of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, he told me, he said that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. Someone who buys once will continue to buy over and over and over and over and over again. So when you understand that you just added 1,000 people to your list, don't you want to know who those buyers are? Would you treat them a little differently? Would you do different things for them? I know I would. So I want to find out who those buyers are as quick as possible. I want to find out who is willing to take their wallet out of their pocket, open it up, pull a credit card out, and after they got a credit card in hand, type in the digits and click submit. Because the person that's willing to do that once is going to do it over and over and over again. So I want to identify who those people are immediately. So as soon as they opt in, I'm going to sell them something. And usually for me, it's going to be really, really a sexy, hot offer, but really cheap, really low price point, because I don't want any barriers. I want to find out everyone who's my buyers so I can get them in this buying process where I can keep buying over and over and over again. And that's phase number 4 is I'm qualifying my buyers. Okay. Now that I've got my buyers qualified, I know who my buyers are. Now I want to identify who my hyperactive buyers are. Okay. My hyperactives are people like me who buy a lot of stuff over and over and over again. Okay. So from there, that's when you start selling them upsells. Okay. Usually someone buys a product. I'm sure you guys have bought stuff online before. After someone buys, there's like, wait, I got a special offer for you. Do you want this thing for an extra $97? Hey, do you want this thing for an extra $500? And so what we're doing is we're offering more expensive offers to find out how good of a buyer you are. How hyperactive are you? Because the person who spends $100 in upsell, I'm going to spend more time and effort on than someone who only pays $5 for a front-end product, right? So what I'm doing is I'm segmenting my buyers, finding out who are my good buyers, my better buyers, and my best buyers. Okay, I do that through upsells, and I'm identifying my hyperactives. All right, everything right here, phases 1 to 5, all this stuff happens on your website in the initial sales flow. Okay, I talked about earlier, I called it point of sale. So the point of sale, this all happens usually within like 5 minutes of itself. So it's a very fast process. Now after step 5 is done and we've got the customer, we got the buyer. Now steps 6 and 7, this process goes on for days, months, weeks, years. Okay, number 6, I'm trying to age and ascend the relationship. Okay, we talked about value ladder. I'm trying to start slowly moving them up the value ladder, give them more value, provide more value, offer more things. I'm going to be sending them up this value ladder. And somewhere along the line though, on the internet, we can only do so much stuff. Okay, online, I really struggle selling things more than about $2,000 or $3,000 online. It gets really hard. The resistance is really high. So somewhere along that line, I can't send them any higher than that. And so what I do is I have to change the selling environment. Okay, so for me, what I do is we either get them on the phone, or we send them something in the mail, or we do a seminar or a webinar or something. But I got to change that environment because it takes more for me to sell a $5,000 or $10,000 or $25,000 or $1 million package. You've got to change the environment. So somewhere along the line, you got to take them off this online thing and change the environment, and now you can sell them your higher ticket, more expensive things. Okay, and so that's kind of how a funnel works. Those are the 7 phases of a funnel. All right. Now, what's cool, and I'll show you kind of in the next step, is that when I'm building out a funnel, this is the first thing I look at. Okay, what are the phases we're taking them through? Now that I've got that, now I come back and I say, okay, for this phase number 3 right here, what are my options? Okay, we got squeeze page here, but there's probably 4 or 5 different ways I can qualify my subscribers, right? And then buyers, there's 4 or 5 different ways I can qualify my buyers. There's a bunch of ways I can send my audience. All these things, there's different ways I can do that. So because of that, we created what I call the 23 building blocks of a funnel. Okay, and this is literally I spent a long time going through all of our funnels, and I realized that I was doing this over and over and over again, but I was doing it in different ways. Okay, so right here, the pre-frame bridge. So the pre-frame bridge we talked about, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 types of pre-frames that we use in our company. Okay, pre-frame number 1 is a quiz. If you guys ever noticed on my list, you've had me send you to a quiz before, right? I send a lot of traffic to a quiz. Okay, it's a pre-frame. And the quiz, by the way, I think right now is probably the best pre-frame that we're using. I don't know if they'll be the same way in a year from now, but right now quizzes are working like crazy. I don't know why. Articles, if I send someone an article, that's a pre-frame. If I go to like a news website or a news blog or something like that, again, a blog, video. Sometimes I send people to a YouTube video, and from there I send them over to my squeeze pages through email or through a pre-sale page. Okay, so I'm creating my new campaign or my new funnel. I say, okay, for my pre-frame bridge, which one do I want? Do I want a quiz, an article? I just pick one of these. Okay. You may say, Russell, what's the best? It just depends. I just try different things. Sometimes this is gonna be the best. Sometimes this is gonna be the best. You just play with it. And it's this whole marketing thing. There's a science and there's an art, right? And everyone's always like, Russell, I just want the science. What's the best thing? But you have to understand there's the art part too. And if it was just a complete science, then every funnel would work perfectly if you just copied it. But it doesn't, because people, they get used to it and they start seeing the same thing over and over and over again. It stops working. And so it's the art behind it that makes it change and be different. So if I have a list and I'm sending quizzes every bunch of times, eventually quizzes will stop working. So then I got to send out a video the next time or send out a blog, and I'm just changing this pre-frame and seeing what my audience responds to. Okay, going from Facebook to a quiz works awesome. Okay, going from YouTube to another video works awesome. Going from one blog to another blog works awesome. A lot of times we'll match where we're driving the traffic to with the type of pre-frame bridge we're using as well. Okay, so those are the building blocks for a pre-frame. Okay, next step in our process, we're trying to qualify our subscribers. So how do I do that? Okay, squeeze page is one we showed you a lot. It's an easy way to qualify subscribers. Pop-ups we use a lot. Okay. A squeeze pop is like a button on my site. I click a button and it pops up, and then I put their name and email address in there. Okay, a free plus shipping. Some of you guys have seen like our free DotComSecrets Labs book. We have a free plus shipping where step number 1, you give me your shipping address and your email, and step number 2, we bill you. But when they fill out step number 1, they're added to my list. So I use a 2-step free plus shipping process to qualify my subscribers. Sometimes I drive people to a webinar registration. They register for my webinar, and boom, now they're a subscriber. Sometimes I give people a free account to something. Like, hey, they'll go create a free account over here. They create a free account, and boom, it turns them into a subscriber. Sometimes I have an exit pop where they're on my site and the exit pops out. They fill it in, and boom, they've joined my list. Okay. So those are a bunch of different building blocks for qualifying subscribers. Okay. Now, the reason why I call these building blocks, like when I was designing this, I was thinking about Legos. Like we went to Legoland with my kids a little while ago, and you know, they go and they build Legos, and so they stack them on and build this whole thing. And I was thinking about this, like, this is kind of like Legos. If I'm building a funnel, okay, my pre-frame bridge, which Lego am I going to use first? Then I got to qualify my subscriber. What's the next Lego? Buyers, boom. And I start building out these little building blocks in my funnel. Okay, next is my qualifying of my buyers. Okay, a lot of ways I can qualify them. I can do a free plus shipping offer. I can do a trial, like a $1 trial offer. That'll qualify a buyer. I can create a tripwire, which is like a $7 product. I can create a self-liquidating offer, which is like a $37, $47 product, or I can do a straight sell, which is just a straight out sell of $100,000, $500,000 product. Okay, I can use all these different things to qualify buyers. Russell, you're probably saying, Russell, which one's the best? Okay, again, all of them. We do different ones at different times. Okay, they all have a point and a purpose. Right now, I'm just giving you the building blocks, so you'll see how easy and how quickly we can start building out funnels in the future after you understand these core concepts. Okay, and then the fourth one here is how do we identify buyers in heats? We do it with bumps. So what a bump is when somebody buys something. Like if you buy DotComSecrets Labs, some of you guys probably didn't notice this, but this little bump increased our front-end revenue by 34%. Okay, it's like magic. So step number 1, you put in your credit card. Step number 2, step 1, you put in your shipping. Step 2, put in your credit card. And right before you click submit, there's a little thing there, 2 sentences that says, hey, for $37, you want me to give you my the Commission Crusher sales template that out-converts everything else. 34% of the people, or 34 to 37, I can't remember the exact number, click that little bump and boom, it adds it to their order. Okay, so that's what a bump is. It's like on the order form. Then after somebody buys, we have a one-time offer. Like, wait, we got a one-time offer. Do you want to buy it? If they say no to that, then we offer a down sell. Like, okay, if you don't want to buy that, well, here's a down sell you can look at. And then if they don't buy that, then we can refer other things. Hey, check out this guy's product. Check out this thing, and we can recommend other things. Okay, so these are in that sales funnel process. These are the different building blocks. So anytime I'm creating a new sales funnel, a new anything, I'm just looking at these kind of things and figuring out which building blocks I want to use. Okay, and again, you guys, the key with this is we're in the business of like interrupting patterns, like doing lots of different things. And so that's why we need all these different tools, because you never know which one you're going to need, what's going to be the right thing. Sometimes we're doing webinars, sometimes we're doing, tripwire, sometimes we're doing bumps. It just kind of depends on the offer and the funnel. Okay, now front end versus back end funnels. Okay, this is again what we talked about is On the front end, usually on the front end of your the front end funnel, you're looking at more cold traffic. Middle, you're looking at warm, and back end, you're looking at hot. So this is an image this is the cool one I just created like 2 days ago. So this is your value ladder, right? Now on your value ladder, different types of funnels are going to be different types of your value ladder. Okay. Typically at the bottom of the value ladder, this is where someone doesn't really know you yet. They haven't received value. You're trying to give these guys a bunch of value, right? This is cold traffic. Okay. This is cold down here typically. So I'm going to create offers that are going to get somebody in. So there's two kinds of offers I typically create on the front end of my value ladder. First is a free plus shipping offer, or second is an SLO, self-liquidating offer. And we'll talk about these here in a second. Okay. So I'm coming after cold traffic. Now, if I got warm traffic, I'm moving them up the value ladder. And if I'm doing that, typically I'm selling them through one of these ways, either through a perfect webinar, we're going to talk about here in a second, or an invisible funnel style webinar, or a product launch funnel. Okay, this is what I'm selling typically more my warm traffic, people that already have a relationship, or they're more, again, they're more solution aware here in the middle. Or the back end is where I'm selling my expensive stuff, okay, my high ticket stuff, the top of my value ladder. I'm using that through a high ticket 2-step that we'll talk about, or from a black box funnel. Okay, and then for my continuity, I'm typically doing it through continuity or a micro continuity funnel. Okay, so if you guys look at this is your value ladder we talked about at the very beginning, and then here are all different sales funnels we use at different levels of the value ladder. Does that make sense? So what we're going to be doing in the next section that I think is kind of cool is I'm going to show you guys how we structure each of these sales funnels and then the sales scripts we use for each of them. Okay, and this is going to save you 10 years of trial and effort, because this is like everything that I've ever done and learned and figured out, and we're giving it to you guys here, and I think you're going to love it. So I want you guys just to burn this image in your head, because this is going to cement everything we talked about earlier with the value ladder, now with all these different sales funnels. Okay, a lot of people get confused because there are a lot of different types of sales funnels. They're like, well, Russell, you gave me 9 sales funnels or 6 sales funnels, whatever it is, or all these different sales funnels. Which one do I use? And it depends. Like where in this path are you taking someone? Okay, if I'm driving traffic from Facebook and from Google and more cold traffic, I'm going to be promoting a free plus shipping offer and an SLO. Okay, and that's how I'm going to be building my list, building my buyer list, things like that. Now that I got my buyer list, now I'm going to be doing a webinar or an invisible funnel webinar with these guys, or a product launch. I'm going to be selling products that are kind of in the $200 to $2,000 range in here. Now I got people that are buying these. Now I got to send them up. From there, I'm going to push people to my high ticket 2 steps, to my black box funnel. Here's where I'm selling my $5,000 to my $25,000 to my $1 million programs. Does that make sense? So usually, again, if you look at value ladder, price is low down here. So I'm going anywhere from, I'd say from $0 to $97, I'm selling through these 2 funnels. From $97 to $2,000, I'm selling through these funnels. From $2,000 to $100,000, I'm selling through these funnels. And then these are our continuity funnels to put people into continuity. All right. Now, before the funnel begins, we're about to break down all those different sales funnels and scripts. These are some things that I think are important to address before we get in the funnels, because they're core fundamentals to really understand. So the first thing is to get somebody into any funnel. There's a script I use. It's a simple one. I call it the inquire interrupt. Okay, because if you look at people online, right, they're going to a website, they're reading a blog, they're on Facebook, all this stuff's happening around them, right? And you've got like 1 second to grab that person's attention and suck them into your sales funnel, right? And so to do that, you've got to very quickly, very fast grab their attention, right? And you got to do it through a lot of different means. And so the best example that I can think of in the offline world is when you're at the grocery store and you're going through this checkout line, and there's Twix and Snickers and Reese's and Tic Tacs and people and crying babies and checkout and all this stuff's happening around you, right? It's crazy. And then boom, all of a sudden you see these National Enquirer magazines. You see big, huge headlines like 300-pound baby, and boom, you see that thing, right? And that makes you grab the National Enquirer magazine. So I'm curious right now, who of all you guys who are on this webinar right now, how many of you guys actually read the National Enquirer? Go to the comment section, just let me know, because I'm curious how many of you guys actually read it. Okay, I'm not getting anyone to admit to it. Okay, so this all you guys have said no. This is the best thing, you guys. So National Enquirer, or the Star, or whatever you want to call it, the tabloids, right? Nobody will ever admit that they read it, yet it's the most highly circulated newspaper in the world. Okay? So that's important to understand, you guys, because no one wants to do it, but it works. Okay, these headlines grab people's attention. And so if you look at online, it's the same things. If you guys look at news sites and look at the banner ads that pop out, those banner ads are like National Enquirer interrupts, right? It's like this little headline that grabs you like, what? And then boom, they got you. It's a slippery slope. They get you into their funnel. It creates mass curiosity. Okay, so let me show you. This is what National Enquirer looks like. If you go to Google Images and type in National Enquirer, you will see thousands of images of all the different headlines. Now look at how quick these little headlines are and how they grab you, right? Obama caught in hotel with this beauty. Hillary Clinton adopts alien baby. Sarah Palin's dark secrets. Michael Jackson won 10,000 pills in 6 months. Angelina walks in on Brad and Jen. Michael Douglas, gay shocker. John and Kate's $10 million divorce. Macaulay Culkin, addicted to heroin, 6 months to live. Jamie Lynn, pregnant again. Al Gore, sex attack. Okay, like these are the like 4 or 5 words that just grab your attention. You're like, what? And then boom, it's a slippery slope. They grab your attention, and you will not admit it, but you guys are buying these, all right? And you may think, well, we're more intelligent than that. We don't do that. Maybe you are, but the majority of people are not, okay? If you look at what our supplement business right now, we will do over $1 million probably next month, and we're doing it off little ads like this. These aren't our ads, but these are the banner ads I'm sure you guys have seen on websites. They look kind of like National Enquirer ads because these are the exact same ads that are driving hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Okay, look at him. 70-year-old grandma looks 40. Dr. Oz, better than a facelift. Okay, let's see. Do you trust Obama? Vote here now. Do you know these 7 survival secrets? 3 things that repel women. Man cheats credit score. This device has grocery stores panicked. Do you know gun grabbers hate this? Okay, these are the kind of ads that you're on a blog, you're on a website, you're on Facebook, and all of a sudden you see it and it grabs your attention and boom, sucks you in. Okay, and so to usually the initial part of a funnel, pre-funnel, that's how we're getting people's attention. Okay, guys, we're going down to this again, the cold traffic level. This is how we're grabbing some initially with these types of things. Okay, all right. So that's the first thing we'll talk about is just kind of that first National Enquirer interrupt to get somebody's attention into your funnel. And the second thing we'll talk about is just, again, this is more funnel psychology I wanted to share before we get into the actual funnels, is something I call the 100 visitor test. Now, this is something if you've heard me speak before, I talk about this a lot because I believe in it so much. This is a test we ran, and we didn't just run 100 visitors through it, but I shrunk it down to 100 visitors just to make it conceptually make sense to you guys and hopefully illustrate the point. So this is, again, a sample size of hundreds of thousands of visitors. But you break it down to 100 visitors. We were sending 100 visitors to a website selling a product that's $197. Now, we spent a ton of time and energy creating this website and writing copy, doing an amazing job. And from that, we only got 1% conversion rate, which actually was pretty good when all is said and done. So for 100 visitors, they went to this website. We were making one sale, which is $197. You may think that's not that bad. It's not. But check out what happened when we just kind of tweaked this offer. We took one piece of this $197 product, the best part, the one thing that people want the most, and we pulled it out. What we did is we put it out in front. So we had 100 visitors, and we gave that thing away for free. We gave it away on a free CD, sometimes on a free book, sometimes on a free MP3 player, just something. We gave it away for free. We just charged shipping and handling. And from the same 100 visitors, instead of getting 1% conversion, we get 8% that would say yes to that and get the free CD. Okay. Now, what's interesting is the psychology behind this. As soon as somebody said that very first yes, to get them to say yes to the second thing is 1,000,000 times easier. Because of those 8 people who took the first thing, on average, we get about 25% of those people to buy the next offer in our value ladder, right? The next value in our funnel, which is the exact same $197 product. The sales letter was much simpler on this, and I'll show you guys the script we use here in a minute. We're getting 25% to buy. So from the exact same 100 visitors, we were making $394 instead of $197. Plus, we were getting 8 new buyers that we qualified. Now we could market to differently, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff came from it as well. Okay, so for me, you guys, if you look at any of my funnels at the very beginning of it, I'm a huge believer in using free plus shipping things. There's a million stories I could tell you behind it, but we just don't have time for it. But it's very, very powerful. So look at that as you're kind of creating your funnels, is having things like this in the front. They create buyers and then give you the ability to upsell those buyers into more things. Okay, all right, section number 4. You guys ready for the funnels and the scripts? This is like the hardcore, super awesome stuff that I can't believe I'm really sharing this, you guys, because the only people we ever shared this with are people who came to our event in Boise and spent a ton of money. This literally is months and months of research. I went through every sales letter we have written, sales letters other people have written for each step of the value ladder, all different things. And from that, pulled out what our sales funnels look like and then what the scripts we used were to sell each thing. And we turned these into some really simple images so that in the future, when you guys know, hey, I'm creating a front of the value ladder type funnel, I need this is what it's going to look like. Boom, you can pick which one you want, and you know exactly what the sales script is, and you can just use it, okay? Now, again, I could literally spend a month going, probably a month going through these funnels and scripts, and we don't have, I maybe have an hour. So so I apologize in advance. I'm going to probably be talking fast because there's so much to cover, but I don't want you guys to miss any of it, okay? So we're going to cover it fast right now, and in the future, we can probably try to dive in a little deeper. All right, so again, front end versus back end funnels. The first thing we'll talk about are these front end funnels right here, okay? The free plus shipping funnel, and then the SLO, the self-liquidating offer, okay? So the first is the free plus shipping funnel. And again, this is the front of the value ladder. This is by far my favorite. This is what it looks like. We do 2-step ones, and you've probably seen our pages before where step number 1 is a page where I show the free thing and I ask them where they want us to ship it. They put in their address. And then step number 2 says, what's your credit card? And they give us their billing. And they click submit, and then boom, then we upsell them on the full version of the product or the main thing we want to sell, right? So that's the 2-step free plus shipping offer. All right, pretty simple to lay that out. All right, now here is the script that we use associated with that. Okay, so the script that we use to sell this free CD, this free DVD, this free book is what I call the who, what, why, how script. I originally learned this concept from John Carlton. I'll give him credit for it. But this is what the who, what, why, how script looks like. Okay, you're basically going to answer 4 questions for someone when they come to your website. Somebody comes to the website, and for example, for my DotComSecrets Labs book, they come to the page, and I can answer these 4 things. The first one is who. So I say, hey, my name is Russell Brunson. Okay, I just told them who. Second one is what. I've got a free book here that's going to show you 108 of my top split test results. I show them what they've got, right? Then I tell them why they need it. The reason why you need this book is if you've got a website and you're struggling to get it to convert and to turn your traffic into visitors, just because you set it up wrong, you structured it the wrong way, this book's going to show you every single split test we ran the last 2 years, what worked, what didn't work, and then you can just look at it and copy it for your own business and see huge success. That's why you need it. Then how can you get it? How you can get this, just fill out the form on the side, let me know where to ship this to, and then click submit, and then we will send you this book in the mail right away. Okay, pretty simple, right? Who, what, why, how. Who are you? Hey, my name is Russell Brunson. I've got this free book. It's going to help you a ton. You need this because it's going to help you. How can you get it? Click on the button to get it. Okay, that's my who, what, why, how script. Now, if you want to amplify that, there's a couple other things that we do, especially on the free plus shipping things that work really good, is these last 4 down here. They're not necessary, but they will help. Usually I say, now a lot of you guys are wondering, what's the catch for me giving away this free CD? Well, there is no catch. I just want to get one of my products in your hands so in the future you want to buy more cool stuff from me. All right, so I kind of share a catch. Then I have urgency. So, hey, I only printed X amount of copies of this book. When they're gone, I got to reorder, so they'll be off the shelves for probably a week or 2. So if you want it right now, you need to get it today. How's my urgency? Guarantee. If you don't like this book for whatever reason, ship it back to me. I won't charge you a penny. And then recap the offer. So once again, you're going to get this book for free. No, I'll ship it out to you. You're going to love it. Blah, 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 blah. And I recap the offer. Okay. So there is the who, what, why, how script. Now, some of you guys are probably thinking, Russell, how do I use that? Is it a video? Is it a sales letter? What is it? The answer is yes. It just depends on how you want to do it. Okay. Those of you guys who are good on video, do a video. Those of you guys who are horrible on video, do a sales letter. But this is the message that will be on this landing page when somebody comes to get your free plus shipping thing. Who, what, why, how. Okay. Now we use this who, what, why, how script in a lot of other funnels as well. We'll use it to get people to register for webinars. We use it a lot of times for trial offers and continuity, things like that. But it's a very simple, easy script that most of you guys can master in about 5 minutes. So anytime you're trying to sell something that's low barrier, you don't have to sell it that hard. It's just kind of getting somebody to say a yes. The who, what, why, how script works awesome. Okay. Now, after somebody buys the free plus shipping, now we're going to give them a one-time offer, OTO. So this is my OTO bump script. And this starts moving somebody up the value ladder, right? They're going from a free plus shipping to maybe a $197 or $297 product. So I'm bumping them up. Now, the cool thing about the OTO bump script is it's not that difficult. Usually this video is only going to be 3 to 5 minutes long. Okay, whereas the sales videos I'm going to show you here in a minute are a lot longer. Okay, so first thing is after they bought the product, So let me come back here. It's going to be on this page right here. This script is for this OTO page. So they just bought the free CD or the free DVD or the free thing. And they land on this page and you're saying, wait, thanks for ordering. I've got a special offer for you. Okay, so this is the sales script. Step number 1 is I'm confirming their initial decision. Congratulations on ordering my free book. You are going to love this. It's going to be awesome. Okay, then I do what I call a 3x, 2x. I learned this from a guy named Tim Irway. Tim is a stud. Taught me this one. He said, so you confirm the initial decision and you say, hey, this is the deal. I want to show you a way that you can get 3 times as much results and get it done twice as fast. 3x, 2x. 3 times results, twice as fast. Before we do that, I want to talk about how smart you are. Okay, this is where you start brown-nosing somebody. You want them to think they're awesome, and they are, because they bought your stuff, right? So this is where I start saying, but before we get into that, I just want to confirm that you made a smart decision. And the reason why I think you did is just because you're someone who gets it. You're someone who understands the value of investing money for something even bigger in return. And I'm just going to congratulate you on making that investment, and you're a very smart person, I can tell, right? So I'm kind of kissing their butt a little bit, brown-nosing, making them like me. And then I transition over here to but before we go on, I got a question for you. Okay, how would you like? Okay, excuse me. I got a question for you. You just bought a book on how to lose weight quickly, and so it's coming out to you right now. But I'm just curious if you would like to know how to triple your results in twice as fast. Would you be interested in that? If so, I've got a very exclusive offer that I've never offered anyone before in the past. But because you're here on this page, you're getting it. If you leave this page, you can't buy it anywhere else. Only way to get back here is to buy the product again, and I'm sure you don't want to do that. So this is an exclusive offer that's happening right now. And if you get it, it's going to help you get more results faster and speed. Okay? One-time offers usually, guys, the best thing is like someone just bought a concept. Now you're helping them get this concept faster. Okay? You just bought this thing, but if you want to do it faster, better, this is what this one-time offer is going to do for you. Then you transition over to the one thing. What's the one thing about this one-time offer? Okay, you bought a weight loss thing. Let's say the front end they bought a free CD about how to exercise, right? So different exercises you can use to lose weight. So the one thing is going to be like something different. Like, yeah, you just bought something that's going to show you how to lose weight through exercise. But did you know that there's certain things that you can eat that will actually help you lose weight as well? Okay, so figure out like the one thing I'm identifying, the one big hook, the one like magic bullet here in my product I'm selling. I just mentioned that one thing. Here's the one thing. Okay, and then I got a future cast. So a future cast means you're gonna take them to the future. And you want them to imagine what would happen. So right here I talk about, in the one thing I talk about, hey, there's this really cool thing where you eat certain foods in a certain order. When you do that, fat literally will melt off of you, especially when you use that with the product you just purchased. These two things in unison help you get results faster and better and easier. Okay, now future cast. Can you imagine what that'll be like? Can you imagine what your life will be like after you've lost the first 10 pounds? What would your life be like after you lost the first 20 pounds? How would your spouse look at you differently? What about your kids? What would they think about their mom or their dad? Okay, so I'm taking them to the future, and they're gonna be like, yeah, that's awesome. Then I come back to here to my call to action. So if you want this thing, all you gotta do is click on the button down below, and we'll add it to your order. It's one-time offer. It's only blah, blah, whatever. And I guarantee, and don't worry, just like all of our products, if you're nervous about it for whatever reason, just let me know in 30 days. And if you don't want it, we'll give you your money back. 100% guarantee, no risk. It'll be awesome. Okay, now we value stack. Now this is where we were talking about earlier, like focusing on one thing. So again, anytime you're sharing an offer, selling anything, you focus on one thing. Now you got a little section here you can value stack. Okay. The biggest problem most people have is during this one thing they're showing, you're gonna get this and this and this, and just it gets overwhelming. Here I'm saying, now if you do get this offer, I'm also gonna throw in my product that does this. I'm gonna throw in this report here. I'm gonna throw in this. It's a really quick kind of a fast value stack. Again, this is a one-time offer. It's not like a big webinar, so it's a faster value stack. You get this, you get this, you get this. It's gonna be awesome, but you gotta act right now. When you leave this page, it's gone forever. It's very scarce. This is only here, very limited time offer, blah, 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 blah. So go down, so second call to action, go down, click on the button down below and sign up. And then if I have testimonials about that product, then I'll do a testimonial rush. We'll have like Joe share his story and Mike share his story and Susie and everyone share their stories. And then maybe I might do a third call to action at the end. And boom, there's your OTO bump script. Is that awesome, you guys? It's very easy. Confirm initial decision, the 3x, 2x. Tell them why they're smart. Ask them a question if they really do want to get results faster. If so, you got an exclusive opportunity. It's going to give them results faster, speedier. And this is the one. This is the thing that they're going to. This is the tangible thing that you're going to give them that'll give them that faster results. Take them to the future so they can imagine what it'll be like. Call to action, guarantee, stack some more value, give them some scarcity. Second call to action, testimonial rush, boom, you're done. Again, that video should be 3 to 5 minutes long for your one-time offer. Okay. All right. So that, you guys, is, here we go. That's the free plus shipping offer here on the bottom of the value ladder. Now, the other one I'm going to show you is the self-liquidating offer, and we do that a lot of times as well. Okay. Now, for me, a self-liquidating offer, let's see. Self-liquidating offer is anything that's usually lower ticket price. And again, my goal of that is just to, I mean, sometimes you'll make money on your self-liquidating offer. My goal is just to break even. If I spend $1 on Facebook ads, I want to make $1 back out on the other side. That's why I call them self-liquidating offers. I think I learned that term from Ryan Dice. They also call them tripwires now. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's an offer that you're gonna basically hope to make your money back. That's why it's the front of the value ladder, right? Because we make our money in the middle and the top of the value ladder. The front is for us to acquire customers and sell them stuff. Okay, so we begin with a lead magnet. So there's a report here or a free whatever. They give us an email address, then boom, we sell them this thing. And usually for me, this product's gonna be $27 to $97 in my core offer, and after that, then we'll have a one-time offer. Okay, so one-time offer script here is gonna be the exact same as what I just shared with you. But this core offer script, because I'm selling something there's more price resistance. Again, we're going from $37 to $97 or more. You got to sell it differently and betterly, a little bit better. So the way we do that is we use the script called the Star Story Solution script. Okay, I learned this initially from a guy named Vince James. Vince made $100 million selling supplements through direct mail. And I had a chance to interview him about 10 years ago, and he taught me some cool stuff. But one of them was this script, the Star Story Solution. Okay, so the star, guess who the star is? It is the attractive character we've been talking about all day today. The story is the story, the backstory of the attractive character, and talks about how they bumped into the solution that solved your problems, and it's going to solve their problems. Okay, so Star Story Solutions. Let me break this down. This one again is a lot longer, but it's awesome. Okay, so the first section, excuse me, of your the sales video or sales letter is your star. So it begins with a pattern interrupt. You gotta say something that's gonna grab their attention, right? And there's a million ways to do pattern interrupts. I'm not gonna give you all the examples, but it's some way to break their state. Sometimes it's a funny video, or sometimes it's a dramatic intro or a good headline, or something where it kind of just grabs their attention, right? A lot of times it's that Inquirer headline, that Inquirer thing just kind of grabs them. Now after I kind of broke their pattern, got them into this video or this sales letter, then I go back to my core desire questions. Okay, I like to do it this way. So I start if you look at again back here at the DotComSecrets X, here's my core desire questions. Have you ever wanted to work from home or own your own business? Come on, you want that lifestyle one everyone talks about, where you can work from home in your underwear or on a beach with a laptop. Okay, so I'm talking about their core desires. Okay, so what's your audience's core desires? Have you ever wanted to lose weight? Have you ever wanted to be able to fit in that bikini? Have you ever wanted to have a six-pack? Okay, what are their core desires? I ask them that. I want to call them out. Have you ever wanted those things? And they're like, yeah. But now the problem is that everyone's skeptical online, right? So the next thing to do is I have to agitate their past failures. Okay, so if you look right here, I agitate it so why hasn't it happened for you yet? Okay, so I'm kind of calling them out on it. Come on, admit it. This is not the first time you look for a proven way to make money, is it? Come on, you got to admit, this is not the first time you try to lose weight, is it? Okay, so I'm kind of calling them out. So I'm agitating their past failures, and then talking about those things, right? You've tried this before. You tried diet scheme after scheme. Nothing's worked. You're fatter now than you ever were. You're more broke now than you ever, whatever that thing is, right? I'm agitating these past failures and make them kind of oh man, this does suck. And then I got to come back and say, look, I've got a promise for you. During this video, I'm going to show you my number one secret for blah, 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 right? What's the one thing? What's my big promise I have for him? Okay, every good sales video is going to have one big, huge promise. I'm promising you're going to get this thing, this result, this whatever. So whatever your one big promise is, your big result, that's where we drop that. Okay, because we're agitating the past failures, but you're promising me now there's something big, there's something different, there's something that's going to change them. And then I introduce myself. Okay, most people start their sales videos introducing themselves first, and I think it's wrong. Okay, you've got to take them through this process here, because no one cares about you until they think that you can actually solve their problems. Okay, so take them through this process. Boom, here I'm promising something. Now, boom, my name's Russell Brunson, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Now, for me, this is where I usually introduce the reluctant hero. Okay, for you, you may be the leader, you may be the reporter, whatever it is. But here's where I introduce my attractive character. And I say, hey, I'm Russell Brunson. And 5 years ago, I was just like you. I was broke. And I was trying to figure out this internet thing. And I got ripped off by guru after guru. And it was a horrible process. And finally, I figured it out. And I never was planning on sharing it with people. When I saw how many people were struggling, I decided I got to be part of this, right? Boom. So I'm kind of introducing my attractive character. So there's the star portion of the sales video. Then we jump over to story. Okay. A lot of the story stuff, you guys, I learned from Dagan Smith. I will give him 100% credit. Okay. So my story always starts at a point of high drama, like we talked about earlier with email sequencing. And from there, I share my backstory and I talk about the wall I hit. Okay, which is usually the same wall they're at right now. Okay, look at where's my audience right now. They're stuck because they're broke. They're stuck because they can't make money. They're stuck because they're having nerve pain. Whatever that is, this is the wall they're stuck at. So I take them to this wall, and then from there, identify their problem. Look, you got the same problem I had. Okay, the problem is that blah, 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 blah. And then something happened. Okay, now for me, there's two directions I go with, and it depends on what actually happened in my story. One, I either had a big epiphany, like, wow, this is what I should do instead. Okay. Or the second one is like Declaration of Independence. That's when I woke up one day and said, enough is enough. I've got to change. I got to figure it out today. Okay. So either I'm going the epiphany angle or the Declaration of Independence angle. Either one of those works. Okay. Whichever one fits better for your story. Then from there, so I declare my independence or I shared my epiphany, and I want to share with you the path that I went on to find my ultimate solution. So here's the path. I tried this, and I tested this, and I worked on this, and I figured out all these kind of things, and nothing was working, and all of a sudden, boom, I had my first sign of success. I remember jumping on that scale and seeing the pounds starting to melt off. Or I remember the very first time I got a commission and how it changed my life. I remember the first time the nerve pain went away, right? Whatever the first sign of success is. And then you step back and you say, and that's when I realized that it wasn't my fault. Okay, this is the portion, you guys, where, remember we talked about from the inception script about confirming their suspicions, or excuse me, what was the actual terminology? Justify their failures. So here's where I start justifying my failures, right? So that's when I realized that it wasn't me that was it wasn't my fault that I was fat. It's not your fault either. It's the what? Conspiracy theory, right? It's the government, it's the gurus, it's the weight loss things, it's the someone, right? I'm blaming there's some conspiracy behind this, right? Everyone's got this thing. We talked about in Inception, we talked about confirming suspicions. Everyone's got these suspicions that something else is holding him back. So all I'm doing is I'm justifying their failures, confirming their suspicions that there's some conspiracy happening and there's a big, huge lie, and this is not your fault. You've got to understand it's not your fault that you're broke, you're overweight, that you're in pain, that you're unhappy, that you're whatever it is you're selling, right? You got to understand this is not your fault, you guys. Whose fault is it? Boom. You got to determine a common enemy. It's the guru, it's the drug companies, it's the magazine publishers, it's the traffic guys, it's the whoever, right? You got to blame someone. It's Facebook, it's Google, it's whoever the common enemy is, right? Again, this comes back down to deception. We talked about throwing rocks at our enemies. This is where we're throwing rocks at our common enemies. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever studied like cults. I don't want to ever start a cult, but there's some books out there about starting cults. It's really interesting because this is one of the core things in starting a cult is defining a common enemy. So who's the common enemy for your audience? Because you want to define that. And obviously we don't want to start our own cults, but if you want a cult-like following of people buying your stuff, you got to define a common enemy and throw rocks at them. Blame them. It's their fault that all these bad things are happening. Okay, and then after you realize it was the big bad guru or the drug company or whatever, you kept doing stuff, and all of a sudden you started seeing this rapid growth. You went from little to big, and all these great things were happening, and all of a sudden you got it. Like you were free. You had this awesome stuff happening. But it wasn't just you. It happened to other people as well. Okay, here's a case study how it worked for this person and this person. And here's 3 other people this also worked for. So it wasn't just me. It's working for everybody I showed it to as well. And now what I didn't understand when I first got started, I understood the benefits would be that I would feel better, I would make more money, whatever. But the hidden benefits that have happened that have just been this pleasant surprise is this and this and this and this. All these hidden benefits that came from it, right? Okay, so there's the story part of our sales letter. So we got star, story. Now we've got to introduce our solution. So the solution, this is where we first start our formal introduction. And that's why I created my product. Boom, I'm formally introducing my product to you. Now, as soon as I introduce this product, usually there's always gonna be like this initial letdown in someone's mind, like, oh, that's all it is. It's gonna be an ebook. Oh, it's just gonna be some software, whatever. There's this kind of drop here. And so here, immediately after I introduce it, I gotta come back and be like, look, to create this thing, it was a pain in the butt. It was not easy. I spent countless days and months and weeks in doing this. It cost me a ton of money. I had to hire programmers, developers, and I had to travel the world, and all the pain, all the cost I had to figure out to get this. And all of a sudden, like, wow, that actually is pretty cool. I don't want to do it. But then you transition from the pain and cost it took you to the ease and the speed that they're going to get because of it. Okay, but it was totally worth it, because now for everyone else who uses this, it's so much easier for them. They don't have the pain I had to have. Okay, and it's so much faster. They're able to get started today with what took me months or even a year to complete. They can get it done almost instantly. Okay, so I introduce ease and speed. Then I transition over to my SO benefits. Okay, a SO benefit, a lot of times you guys, people will share a benefit. Like one of the benefits is that my skin got clearer. Okay, that's a benefit. A SO benefit is my skin got clear, so now I can actually look in the mirror with a smile on my face. Okay, a benefit is my car went fast. A SO benefit is my car went fast, so now I can go and pick up chicks or whatever it is, right? So the SO is the key. Whenever I share benefits, I attach a SO to it, and now I can say why that is, and that's the key to benefit. You guys, people always like drop benefits, and they don't give the SO behind it, and it just ruins it. So there's your SO benefits, right? Then we drop down social proof. Here's other people it's working for. Here's my special offer for you. I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff during my training course. It's going to be awesome. And then it's going to be really, really expensive, right? And then we drop price down. So it's, if you do yourself, it's going to cost 10 grand, but it's not going to be 10. It's not going to be 5, not going to be 4, not going to be 3. And then boom, we show a fake price. It's going to be whatever, $5,000, right? Fake price. And that's what after I share the fake price, and this is key, you guys, and we'll share this also in the webinar section. I share the fake price, then I come over and say, look, and I know I'm not going to charge you $5 grand for this, but I want to ask you a question. If all this did was help you to something that added pleasure to life, all this did was help you to finally live in the house of your dreams, would it be worth it? If all this did was help you to look better in your swimming suit, would it be worth it? Yeah, I think it would. And then if all this did was help you to fire your boss, would it be worth it? If all this did was help you to stop having people laugh at you behind your back, would it be worth it? Okay. One thing you got to understand, you guys, is all of us, we make our choices based on either moving towards pleasure or away from pain. And your audience is going to have different motivation points. So what I want to do is I want to take the big price, right? The big price that I give somebody, and I need to justify that. So I need to say, if all statements are magic. So if all this did was this, would it be worth it? And I need to attach one of those things, at least one to pleasure and one to pain. Okay, so if all this did was help you to gain more pleasure, would it be worth it? If all this did was take away your pain, would it be more worth it? And then boom, now we drop down to, well, don't worry, I'm not gonna charge you $5 grand. I'm only gonna charge you $3 grand. Or I'm only gonna charge you $1,000, or I'm only gonna charge you $500. So I reveal the actual price. Then I switch to my guarantee, which is gonna be my logic close. So right here, the if alls, this is my emotional close. Then guarantee is my logical close. Then I gotta inject scarcity. So you guys gotta act fast, because this is not gonna be available forever. This is my fear close. Then I do my future pacing again, like I shared with you on the other script. Just imagine what life's gonna be like when you have this. Here's the call to action. Now, post-selling is what, after somebody's bought, usually people are still watching the video, but I say, look, for those of you guys who are already buying and are already signing up, I want to talk to you guys for a minute, because you're going to be in the members area in a minute, and what you're going to find is this, and what you're going to see is this. I start talking to the people who've already bought, and by doing this post-selling, it gets people realizing that other people are buying and they're not, and it makes them want to buy even more. Then do some takeaway selling. Takeaway selling is basically warning. You need to understand that this is not going to be available forever. Okay, guys, this is here now. It's not going to be here tomorrow. One of my favorite takeaway pitches is you guys understand, like, I've already lost the weight. This product's not for me. Okay, I feel great right now. I'm healthy right now. I'm making money right now. Whatever your product is, right? This is already working for me. This is not about me. This is about you right now. Okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up in the morning. I'm gonna feel great no matter what. But you're gonna wake up and still be overweight unless you take my product. Okay, so I'm kind of doing this takeaway sell, like putting it back on them. And so I do that, and then we close the reminder. So you guys remember, this offer is available right now. You're gonna get this, this, and this. And click on the button now, and we'll see you on the next page. Boom. So there's the star, the story, and the solution. I know that right there, you guys, is like a copywriting course. Again, I could spend a whole week teaching. Went through really, really quick. But when you start writing a sales video, this is it. Pull out this thing and start from step 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how I write my scripts. I literally have these printed out, and I just write my sales letters and sales videos this way. You take someone through that journey, and boom, at the end of it, you've got an offer that's going to convert. Is that awesome, you guys? Dave just gave me a wow. Thank you very much. This, like, literally, guys, will save you guys probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years of trial and error. Just use this as a guide to go through. Awesome. Okay, so there are our front end funnels, right? Free plus shipping, self-liquidating offers. Okay, now we start moving up the value ladder. So now we've got some of these people who bought free stuff. They maybe upsold a $197 product. They bought SLO. So they're getting value. Now we're going to start sending them up the value ladder. So we do that through these 3 funnels here: perfect webinar, invisible funnel, and product launch funnels. Okay. Now, I don't want to go. I can't go into tons of detail on all these scripts as much as I did those other ones, just because we'll be here for months. But I want to kind of go through these as well. So the perfect webinar funnel. This is where it's a free webinar. People are not paying for it. They come on a webinar, and you're going to sell them something during it. Okay. So this is typically the sales funnel for a webinar. There's a registration page. After they register, it's taken to a confirmation page. It tells them the date and the time. And then during that date, they jump on the webinar and they listen to you live selling something. At the end of it, they buy something. So there's the sales funnel for a webinar. Now, if you're in an automated webinar where you pre-record it, this is what the automated webinar funnel looks like. They register. If they decide to watch the replay right now, they can watch it right now. If they don't, they go to the same confirmation page and they show up at the time of the webinar. They get a webinar email, and then at the end of it, you sell them the product. Now, the cool thing about automated webinars, you can do some really cool email sequencing where you can say email number 1, send out, you can segment people. So anybody who subscribes to the webinar, send this email sequence. If they show up to the webinar and they stay for the whole thing, send this email sequence. But if they leave before I pitch the product, send this email sequence. And if they don't show up, then send this email sequence. Okay, so this starts getting into some more advanced funnel stuff, like what are the sequences and where do we put people and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to kind of give you guys a hint of how exciting and how big some of these funnel things we're talking about can get. So this is what they look like for a typical automated webinar funnel. All right, so the perfect webinar script, again, guys, this is something I could go over for hours, but this is kind of what it looks like. Okay, and I'll go through it really, really quickly. Usually there's 3 parts of a webinar. There's the intro, there's the content, and then there's the pitch, the close. So the intro, again, we start with a bold promise. We give them a hook to the end. Something about, if you stay on the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you this cool prize or this bonus or whatever. We command attention. We tell them to put away Skype or Facebook. We try to get their attention. We qualify ourselves on why we're an expert, why they should listen to us. We future pace them about what's going to happen if they consume this webinar and gain from it. Future pace them, right? Then we jump into the content of the webinar. Most people, when they do their webinars, they're trying to teach people 5 or 6 or 7 things. For a webinar to work really, really well, same thing we talked about all the other scripts, you guys. You got to focus on one thing. What's the one core message that you need to get your audience to believe, to buy what it is you're selling? Okay, and then everything else wraps around that. So for us, we pick one core thing. Okay, and usually this one core thing is we tie it to a headline that says "How to blank without blank." If you can fit that, if you can fit your thing you're selling into that little framework, it works. Okay, for example, one of our recent webinars was high ticket secrets. It was how to sell high ticket products without picking up the phone. How to do what without what. Okay, that's the one thing. And then I go and I share secrets that aren't separate secrets. They're secrets that strengthen the one thing, the one core argument. Okay, and each of these secrets is to break and rebuild their pattern. So if my one thing again is about how to sell high ticket things without selling on a phone, secret number 1 is probably going to be something. It's a pattern they already, or it's a belief they have in their mind. Okay, they believe right now that to sell high ticket things they have to be on the phone. Secret number 1: here's how I do it without a phone. Okay, and I'm going to share them the secret, and I'm going to, in that process, break their belief that they have to have the phone, and I'm going to rebuild it with the truth that I want them to understand and believe. Okay, secret number 2 is maybe I can do that, but it's going to take a lot of traffic. So secret number 2 is how to do this with almost no traffic. I got to break their belief and then rebuild their belief patterns to what I need them to believe to buy my thing. And secret number 3 is the same thing. Okay, so I'm finding out what their belief patterns are that are keeping them from buying my thing. I show them the pattern, I break it, and I rebuild it with what I need them to believe. Okay, that's the content section of your webinar. Then from there, we transition. I say, let me ask you a question. I just showed you some cool stuff, but how would you like for me to help you do this? and we transition to our close. And again, I could spend days on this close. I'm not going to go through it in a whole, but just to kind of give you a really quick rundown. The first thing we do, the overall close process is what I call a stack. I learned this from a guy named Armin Morn. The stack has literally made me at least $10 million in the last 5 or 6 years. It's how I do every one of my presentations. What it does is basically when I'm sharing my offer, I share, here's component number 1, and I talk about it. And then here's component number 2. But you notice if I stack them, I share component number 3, and I stack them again. Component number 4, stack them. So if you ever look at my presentations, you'll notice that in fact it's almost humorous sometimes. Like, the first thing you're gonna get is this. That means blah 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 blah. So that means the first thing you're gonna get is this, and then here's the second number thing. And I keep retelling this. So by the time I get to the end, you've heard me stack all the components of the offer like 10 times. But what we found is if you don't do it that way, people only remember the last bonus or last thing you told them. And so they're justifying the price of what you're selling based on the last thing you told them. And so you want, before you tell them any kind of price, you want them to see the entire offer, everything they're getting in a huge stack. That's why we call it the stack. Okay, and then we pitch it high. We do our if-all statements just like I showed you guys in the last script. We do price high, drop price low, and we have our call to action. Okay, then throughout the stack, there's a bunch of different closes, and I'm not going to go through these right now, but these are a bunch of different closes we use. I'll drop 1 or 2 or 3. Well, I'll probably drop, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 of these different closes throughout this whole process. And if you Google most of these, you can find them. Some of these are mine. Some of them I learned from other stage presenters. Some I learned from a lot of different people. But if you Google some of these, you'll find out what these closes are. We also have a product at perfectwebinar.com that I go into a lot more detail about this. So that's kind of how we do a webinar pitch. All right, so that's the regular webinar. Now this is an invisible funnel webinar. So the last webinar is a free webinar. Somebody shows up to, you teach for an hour, 90 minutes, and you sell them something, right? It's a free webinar. That model came from kind of the old world seminar speakers, right? Somebody would go to a hotel room, they get a big audience to come, and they would teach about real estate investing, and they would talk about real estate investing, and at the end of it, boom, they would sell their real estate course. Okay, I'm sure you guys have been to some of those events. If not, they're really fun. But that's where it came from. And it's just replicated. Now we're using that model online through the Perfect Webinar. Okay, now this is called Invisible Funnel Webinar, and this is a different type of webinar. The way this funnel works, it's really cool. So somebody comes to the registration page, and you have to kind of sell them. So I have a script that goes with this, but you're selling them on why they should register for your webinar. And the webinar is going to be free. They just put in their credit card. Then after the webinar is over, then you bill their credit card. So they get a chance to come in and test you out for free. See if you're any good. Okay, it kind of comes back to what I talked about earlier with my audience's primary question, right? They're always saying, well, if this is so good, why don't you let me come on and I'll pay you after? So that's kind of what the invisible funnel does. And this is a concept that was initially invented by one of my friends, Dagan Smith. And man, it works awesome. The first time we did this, I can't even tell you how good it was. Basically, someone would come to this page, they watch the video, they put in their credit card, they show up for a webinar, and the webinar ended up being 3 or 4 hours long. And at the end of the webinar, I asked them if they wanted to pay for it. If they did, we billed their credit card. If they didn't, then we didn't. And then at the end of it, we had somebody apply for coaching. We kind of ascended them up. So that's kind of the model for the invisible funnel. All right. So this kind of webinar, again, it's a paid webinar, so it's a little bit different, but it's very effective at moving somebody up the value ladder. Okay. All right. So the invisible funnel scripts. The first one is, what is the script we put on this video right here, and the second is, what's the script we use here during this actual webinar. Okay. So the first script I call the magic bullet script. So somebody comes to the page, and there's some things that are similar, right? First thing is I raise questions. Okay, like, hey, have you ever, like, in fact, we built an invisible funnel in the dating niche, and it was kind of a fun one. So like the whole thing was like, have you ever wondered why all the other guys get pretty looking girls and you don't? Blah, 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 blah. Where I'm going to show you how, so I wrote some questions that were in their head, then I introduced the magic bullet. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can get a girlfriend this weekend, even if you've never dared talk to a girl ever before in the past. Okay, introduce magic bullet, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. Okay, my name is, and the person we did the dating one for was this guy who's overweight. He's not that attractive, and the big pitch is like, man, I am an ugly, overweight guy, and I still get good-looking girls. So I'm introducing myself, and he says, basically, points out your frustrations. I was just like you. I struggle with the same kind of stuff that you were struggling with. until I found my magic bullet. And I found it this way where I can literally get any girl in a day, and it's awesome. So I'm gonna do a webinar that's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna be able to come on this webinar. I'm gonna show you, today's Thursday, come on this webinar. I'm gonna show you how to get a girlfriend this weekend. It's gonna be awesome. So don't worry, it's not gonna cost you anything. And then I do risk reversal. So this is how it's gonna work. You come on, you go to the webinar, go home this weekend afterwards, spend a whole bunch of time trying to pick up a chick, and if you don't pick up a girl, email me on Monday and I won't bill your credit card. But if you do pick up a girl, don't do anything and I won't charge you anything. Okay, that's how we did it in the dating market. We did this in the speed reading market. We had a partner named Howard Berg. He's the world's fastest reader. So for his, it was the same kind of process. Like if you ever tried to, or if you ever struggle reading books or trying to learn the information you need to, how would you like to be able to read a book a book in an hour? I'm going to prove it to you. My name is Howard Berg. I'm the world's fastest reader. And just like you, I was frustrated. I wanted to learn more. I couldn't do it. And that's when I became the world's fastest reader. And I can literally take anyone in 4 hours, double their reading. And don't worry, I'm not going to charge you for this. I'm going to prove it to you up front. Show up on this webinar. It's going to be 4 hours. We're going to test you at the very beginning of the webinar. We'll test you at the end. And if you've doubled your reading by the end, then you pay me. If not, let me know and I won't bill you a penny. Okay? So that's kind of how we do our magic bullet script. Like you got to figure out what's the big promise you can offer somebody. If you can do that, the invisible funnel works really, really good. Okay, that's why getting a girlfriend that weekend worked really good. Double your reading works really, really good. Okay, if you can give some kind of big promise, then the magic bullet script works awesome. Okay, now here's what the script we kind of do when we're on the actual webinar. Okay, so somebody comes on the webinar, and again, typically these webinars are 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Those of you guys who are on this webinar right now, you're actually in the middle of an invisible funnel training right now. We are like over 3 hours into this thing, so you can kind of see how it works. Initially, when someone gets on, you retell the hook, and you tell them what they're going to learn, and then you just start teaching. Okay, the best thing about invisible funnel is you're teaching as much stuff as you can. Okay, you're just trying to give as much value as possible. You're not going to sell any. You're not selling anything right now. So I give as much content as I can. I usually tell them what it is, like what's the first piece of content. I try to share some kind of parable or story that illustrates how it works, or how it worked in the real world. Then I teach a concept behind it, and then I show an example. And then I pick my second piece of content, or my second tip or whatever, and I go through that again and again and again. And I just keep doing that till all my content's been taught. Okay, that's kind of my script for teaching content. At the end of the invisible funnel, you recap. Here's everything you just learned. Then I gotta tie it to value. So can you see how this worked? Okay. How much would it be worth for you to be able to get a girlfriend? How much is doubling your reading worth to you? If I just doubled your reading, you read twice as many books. This is how much it's actually worth to you. So you're tying what you just taught them to some kind of value, so they can see that it was worth a lot. And then you can basically come back and say, look, the webinar is now done, and I just need to ask you if it was worth it. Okay, if so, if this was worth the $97 that I'm charging for the webinar, don't do anything, and I'll bill you tomorrow. If it wasn't worth it, then just email me and I won't bill you. Okay, so recap what they just learned, tie it to some real tangible value, then ask them if it was worth it. If so, do this. If not, do this. Okay, and that's how the webinar, the training webinar ends. Then I soft close the webinar. I say, look, thank you guys for being on the webinar. Now, before we go, a lot of people are asking, all the stuff I talked about, if I can help them with it. And I just want to ask you really quick for your permission to kind of tell you about a special offer I have for you. You don't have to be on it. If you want to hang up now, you can. But I want to make you that offer. And most people are like, yeah, sure. And then they come back and say, okay, so, and then you got a couple different offers. Like, do you want to drive them to a website, to an application, to paid application? This kind of depends on how you want to transition your offer. Okay, sometimes we send them to a website for them to go order. Sometimes we have them apply. Sometimes make them pay to apply. And then basically my 3-step close to this is simple. What, why, how? Okay, they already know who you are, but it's the rest of the who, what, why, how script. So what do I have? I've got a really cool coaching program. If you want to go apply for it, fill out this application. It's free. Why do you need it? Because if you want to get to the next level fast, I'm going to show you how to do it. How to click on this link and go and fill out the application. Okay, so it's pretty simple and pretty easy. All right, so that's the invisible funnel. And then the product launch funnel. Whew, these are a lot of funnels, you guys. I'm glad that you have a chance to go through these over and over again because I know we're covering so much. All right, so the product launch funnel. This is what the product launch funnel looks like. This was made famous by Frank Kern and Andy Jenkins and Jeff Walker and all these guys who do tons of product launches. So usually there's a 4-video series where you're trying to provide as much value as possible for somebody. Video number 1 is called the Wow and How. Video number 2 is the transformational education. Video number 3 is the ownership experience. And video number 4 is the offer. Okay, so that's what the product launch funnel looks like. Now this is what the scripts look like inside of it. Okay, again, this picture gets kind of intense. So the wow and how, basically this is the core script of that video. Big promise, kill common myths. Big promise, content piece number 1, kill the myths, and then hook to video number 2. Video number 2 now is transformational education. Let's do it together. Proof it's working. How I can do it, which is the content for number 2, and then number 4 is you're hooking to video number 3. Here's video number 3, the ownership experience. Boom. Step 1, you future pace them on what's going to happen to them for having this. Number 2, you're going to hint them to the offer that's going to be coming up on video number 4. Number 3, you show how you do it. Number 4, you hook to the offer video. And here's the offer video. Boom. Step 1, here's what I've got. Here's what you'll do with it. Here's what I'll do for you. And here's what you need to do right now. Okay. I know, guys, this is a lot. This is like so much stuff. I feel bad that we're jamming it all in your mind, but I want you guys to have this so that you can understand that I want to do a product launch and then come back to this and I can dig deeper and figure out, okay, what's my big promise? What are the common myths I need to kill? And you can use this as a template if you decide that you're going to create a product launch funnel. Okay. All right. So we covered here's the middle of the value ladder funnels. Now we're going to go to the top and the continuity, and then we'll be close to done, you guys. So the top, now let's see where we sell our really, really expensive stuff. So the first is our high ticket funnel and script. This is the back of the value ladder. So for us, at the end of every sales funnel, we put in this coaching application form. You guys have probably seen it. Some of you guys are probably here because of it. Usually we have some kind of case study. Like, hey, I'm going to show you a case study about how we helped one of our students do X, Y, Z. They watch the video, they apply, fill out an application form. They apply there. It takes them to a page as homework where we pre-frame them on what's going to happen when the phone call happens. Okay, again, it's a very simple funnel that you can attach to the back of any funnel to sell your super high ticket things. Now, after they've applied, typically you're going to call them on the phone now and sell them something. Okay, so this is the high ticket script. It looks like this. Now, there's a lot of steps here. I'm not our salesperson. We did probably 20 hours of training in our high ticket secrets course that goes through this, but this is kind of it. It's a 2-set script. First is the first person that calls is what we call our setter, and their job is to find out if the person is going to be a good fit for our coaching program. So they basically call the person up, they introduce themselves, they ask them a bunch of questions about them, about their business. They go through the blast, which is kind of this process, kind of show a bunch of stuff, what's happening, we're blasting through a bunch of I can't think of the right word on top of my head. What's happening and why this is exciting and kind of answering. You've asked a bunch of questions. So you're kind of sharing like why what you have to share and what your coaching program has is going to be awesome. Then you got to posture it why yours is better or different or whatever. Then you probe to find out more about their pain, what they're struggling with, the good things, the bad things. You got to find out if they've got credit. They can pay for it. You find out what their goals are, and then you share with them the commitments. Okay, so that's the first person's job, the setter, is to go through that process with them and find out if they're qualified. If they are qualified, at the end of that, then they pass them to the closer. The closer is going to go through the 4 commitments here. So the first one is time. Do you have the time to do it? Number 2, are you the decision maker? Can you make decisions? Are you going to be successful with the thing? Number 3, do you have the resources you need? Number 4 is the knowledge. That's kind of what we're going to be doing in the coaching program. Here's what's included, and then you sign them up and you close them. So again, there's a lot of psychology behind this and a lot more to do. But if you want more information on how to do the 2-step, that's what our high ticket secrets product is. But that's how we sell. That's how we sell our 8, our 15, our 25, and our $1 million packages, is through that exact process, and it works amazingly well. All right. You guys, we've covered a lot. Here's our free plus shipping front ends, or our front end funnels, our middle of value ladder funnels, and our high ticket back ends. Last ones we have right now are our continuity funnels. And continuity funnel is pretty simple. Typically, for most continuity we have, there's a trial. I like doing dollar trials or free trials or something to get somebody into continuity. Continuity is a hard sell by itself because you're having somebody sign up for $40 or $50 or $100 a month. And it's kind of there's a big barrier. So I like having a trial to get somebody in. And then immediately I'm going to have an upsell for either you can buy a yearly account, or I'm going to upsell training that complements whatever the thing they're buying is. And from there they go to the members area. And then here they're getting billed each week, each month, so on and so forth, forever and ever. That's the continuity funnel. Now, how do you sell people on these things? You guys, It just depends. The who, what, why, how script works really good here. The star story solution script works really good here. The OTO bump scripts work good in both of these. So all the scripts we kind of showed you now, you can use here in the continuity funnel as well. Okay. Now, the last thing I want you guys to understand is I shared with you guys, how many did we do? We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've done 8 different funnels with you right now. The cool thing about these funnels is that they're not the only funnels. Okay. Every day we're learning and we're discovering new ways to sell stuff and new ways to do funnels. And I look at funnels kind of like I look at the building blocks of a funnel, like they're Legos. Recently we were just playing around with different ideas, and we took 2 or 3 funnels, and we hooked them together like Legos, and we created this new funnel called the black box funnel. And it's really cool, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it starts right here with the free plus shipping product. Okay, and so you guys have seen this. This is one funnel, free plus shipping funnel, and then our upsell became an invisible funnel. So there's the invisible funnel parts. We Legoed the invisible funnel as the one-time offer, and at the end of the invisible funnel, then we Legoed on the coaching application form, and boom, we created a brand new funnel that we call the black box funnel. But all the black box funnel is 3 funnels Legoed, kind of connected together, and it created the black box funnel. Okay, so I don't want you guys thinking that what I've shared with you is conclusive of every type of funnel in the world. I'm showing you guys the core building blocks you need to really start getting creative and figure out new ways to do things. Okay, and the cool thing about the internet is it keeps evolving and changing, and there's so much cool stuff. But literally, this can and should become like a lifetime journey of learning and excitement and all this kind of thing, you guys. And for me, it really is that way. I love this stuff. It gets me so excited. And every time I come in, we're mapping out new funnels, new ways to do it. And here's the funnel, but maybe we'll add a quiz on the front of it now, or maybe we'll add a pre-frame thing, or maybe we'll add a one-time offer before the invisible funnel, then we'll have the invisible funnel, and then maybe we'll add a pre-frame between here and here, and it's just like like Legos, you guys. You're just building out these little funnels, and I hope from today's webinar you guys have gotten more than enough information to understand the funnel psychology, how it works, the core funnels we use, how to build your own funnels, how to know what types of pages and how to do it, and how you're using these funnels to ascend somebody up a value ladder. Because when you understand that, you really have a good understanding of how to make money in this business. This is all I do all day long in every one of our businesses. And this is the fun stuff I never have a chance to share. So I'm grateful for you guys for allowing me to share with you, and I hope that you've learned a ton from it. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. Who here, after the last almost 4 hours, feels a little bit like this? Okay, it looks like most of you guys. So I did what I promised you at the beginning, right? That was my goal, is to make you guys feel like this. And again, I literally dumped 10 years of stuff on you, but I also want to know, I'm sure you feel overwhelmed, but do you feel a little bit more security, just understanding that this is the picture. I see where I'm going now. I understand I need a value ladder. I understand I need to be able to sell people along this value ladder. I got to have this attractive character that's selling people. I need funnels. And here's the building blocks of a funnel. Here's the steps, the phases of a funnel. Here's the type of funnels that I need to have. But now I have a clear picture of the pieces I need to build a successful business, right? Or to take my successful business and take it to the next level. I need to have a new product. I need to have more back-end things. I need more front-end things. I need, whatever those pieces are. Because literally, you guys, that's the key to how this whole thing works. If you look at my business, if you look when people pay us a lot of money for consulting and I fly to their office, they fly here, this is what we do. I get out the whiteboard, we map out what they have right now, and I start looking. What are you missing? Okay, you need another front end, you need a back end, you need a new offer, you need more products, you need this, you need that, and we start just figuring out what it is, where the holes are, where the gaps are. So this webinar, the goal was to show you everything. Like, here's the entire business model, here's all the pieces, here's a ton of stuff. Let me overwhelm you. And now you can set next day, 2 days, 3 days, kind of start thinking about this. Now, the next step, you guys, is to come back and start actually building this out and start taking it piece at a time, one piece at a time. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? I know I just brain dumped on a ton of stuff for you, but for you guys who are live, who are active in our coach right now, I'd love for you guys to ask me any questions if you want right now. All right, someone said, where do I start with all this stuff? That is good. This is where you start, you guys. Who do you want to attract? So figure that out first. Who do you want to be selling to? Who's that person? What's the biggest key? That'd be the first thing. And the second thing I would think out is kind of, conceptually, like where we'll get to, where's a little further down, so we start driving traffic. But now you know who it is. Like, what's the bait you can create? Do you want to sell them through webinar? Do you want to create a free plus shipping thing? Like, what's that tangible bait that you're going to create to get that person? And what's the goal with it? Like what do you want to sell? What's going to be your high ticket thing? What products do you want to create? Like, you got to kind of figure out where you want to take somebody to. And so it's an important key to really understand that. Like, where do you guys want to take people? And after you have that, after you kind of identified, like, from a conceptual level, right, like your business plan. I'm not a big fan of like traditional business plans, but I am a fan of this kind of business plan, right? Who do I want to sell? What bait am I going to use to get them? And my bait is the front of my value ladder. It's going to grab them. So what funnel am I going to use through that bait to grab them? And then I'm going to send them up to where I want them to go. And so that'd be my biggest thing. And as soon as you know that, go and create the bait. So go create the free CD or the free DVD or whatever that's going to be. Then go create your upsell. Then go and create the physical, tangible pieces of those things. Then you come back. Now I got the tangible pieces. Now let me build out the funnel. Let me log in and click funnels. I'll set up my squeeze page, my thank you page, my upsell page. Now you have all the structure behind it. Now I need the sales video for each piece of it. Does that make sense? So let me paintbrush this out. So first is like, what's my business plan? BP, right? So again, my business plan is just, for us, this is the only kind of business plan you guys need. All the crappy business plans they teach you in college don't work. This is what you need right here, right? Who's my business plan? Okay, now that I know that, like, what's going to be my bait? What's going to be my front end bait that's going to get somebody in initially, and then go and create that. Create it. Create that bait. Then number 3, like, what's going to be my upsells? It's OTOs. And then go and create it. So you create the physical deliverables, right? So now people got the stuff. Then for me, number 4 I do is, let me go create the funnels. Let me log into ClickFunnels. I'm going to set up the pages. So here's my squeeze page. Here's going to be my upsell, my downsell, my thank you page. So here I have now the frame for all this stuff. Now the frame's built. Now I need to sell it. So I come back and I use the scripts to script out the video for this page and the video for this page, and then maybe it's my webinar, just all different pieces of it. Now you got that figured out. Now we come back here and where are these people at? Now we've got the mechanism we need to take somebody from bait to our high-end thing that we want to take them to. Now where are these people at? Now let's go find our traffic and start driving traffic to it. So that'd be the path that I would go through. And that's going to be the path, you guys, that we take you through back inside the coaching program as well. So I hope that helps. All right, let's see. Okay, so Liz asked a good question. Says, should I have something to offer before the perfect webinar, like a lower value? So Liz, the answer to that's a great question. It kind of comes back to, if I can find this thing. Okay, so we got cold, warm, and hot, right? So your webinar, I know you're working right now, is good for like warm traffic, right? So joint venture partners, people on Facebook who already know internet marketing that want what you have, like, and so you've got a good offer right now that I think you can go directly to warm traffic right out of the gate and start going for. So like, I would get that first, and then we can try to find some joint venture partners, try to drive traffic through Facebook initially. But yeah, there's going to be a point where you say, hey, let's step back now, and now let's make something that's going to be better for cold traffic. Let's make it free plus shipping. Let's do something there as well. But a lot of businesses, you guys, like I started my whole business is creating a lot of times starting with like something here. Like you can do that. Because the perfect webinar is kind of interesting because someone comes in for free, they watch a free webinar, they receive value, so they're kind of bottom rung of the value ladder. Then you sell them something that upgrades them up. So while the perfect webinar is typically here in the middle of value ladder, the process is it's free to come in and then you're selling them and you're upgrading them up. You know what I mean? So conceptually, it fits in this model. And I've made millions and millions of dollars starting with a perfect webinar to cold traffic. So you can do that as well. Okay, so Russell, is it okay if we use the who, what, why, and how script to make the necessary videos for the physical free CD, the buyer magnet squeeze page, free case study? Yeah, definitely. These scripts, I create scripts for you guys to be able to use for all that. So yeah, definitely you use these scripts on every page. When you're building out your sales funnel, use these scripts in the ones that make the right sense for it. Awesome. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate you. Thanks. You guys are all insane, by the way, to spend 4 hours on a Thursday with me doing this stuff. So I appreciate it. Makes me feel good. And yeah, we will talk to you guys all again very, very soon. Get some sleep, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple days. Thanks, everyone.